Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. Just wanted to come this morning to talk to you all about this search that's coming up next week. I have also some news about some events that are happening before the search that I'm really happy about. So, just wanted to start off with thank you first of all for coming in this morning to join in with this Q&A. I will be starting that shortly. But first, like I said, I want to talk about the search on the 25th. I am pleased to say that I'm close to 200 people that have signed up. If you decide that you want to come out to the searches, please do so by signing up for the search so I can have a head count. Something I've been looking for, something I have to have done uh, for the landowners out there that want to have a little estimate of people who may be out on the property, out on their area, their land, and for the search. And so that's part of some of the agreement. So if you guys can help me out with that, if you decide that you want to come out to the searches on the 25th, enter the code of pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, sign up for the searches. And the way you do it is we're trying to do this one here through the Eventbrite. Go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, hit the events button, and you will see you'll be taken over to the Eventbrite. So that way you can get yourself signed up. That way I can have a head count and know how many people will be coming out into the searches. So again, thank you so much for being here this morning. I see some people coming in right now, so I'm trying to wait for a little bit to see who else going to show up here to hear about this information. But I'm going to just go ahead and share a screen with you guys and show you this website. If you guys go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, like I was telling you, you can sign up for the search. And when I say sign up for the search, you can just come out there. You come out there, but I'd rather for you guys if you can to sign up. And that's the reasons why, like I said, is because definitely have to have some type of a head count for the owners of that property, right? So, because we have to cross their land just to get to the location where I want to have the searches. So, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You have a couple options you can do it. Like I said, you can hit this events tab up here at the top right here, say events. That would take you to Eventbrite. So, you click here, go to Eventbrite. Eventbrite is have all the information there. Well, you used to have our Candlelight Vision, so you see that up the top up there, but that was from the Candlelight Vision. We had one, but you come down to the bottom here, you'll see it right here. Public search for geologist Daniel Robinson. That is Saturday, February 25th at 7 a.m. You click this button, and when you click that, of course, it's going to take you to where you can actually sign up. All right. So you sign up, you just hit the reserve spot here. How many people you gonna have coming with you? Hit the reserve spot, and you can go from there. And that, like I said, all that'll come to me, and so help me with a type of head count, so I can know. If you want to get some information how to get there, it would be here on this button here. Of course, it's Sun Valley Parkway and West Cactus Road. That's out in Buckeye, Arizona. Here's the zip code there. Again, if you want to go back to Please Help Find Daniel, like I said, those who just joining in, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com to sign up for the search. Hit the events button. If not, you can also go to volunteer the search. I think some people will probably hit that volunteer the search. You hit the volunteer the search. I'm going to turn the music off. That will be coming up. But volunteer the search, you guys. See if I can catch it. Okay, I got it off. Okay, good. Volunteer the search, and you see the volunteer the search page here. Sign up for February 25th. You would click this button here. Of course, it's going to take you the same place that I just came from, the Eventbrite, like I was telling you before. So, uh, you know, this easy type deal. Easy type deal. Also, you guys, if you want to, you can prepare for the search that's coming up on the pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Go to the volunteer the search page. It's also going to be on the home page as well to get here to this page here. So I'll take you there in a moment. But like I said, to sign up, you just hit the Eventbrite button here. But you can watch these videos. This videos very some good information that I'm putting. This is safety briefing, you guys. You see it right here. A message from Dave Robinson, the second safety briefing. So if you guys can take a moment to listen to my safety briefing as well as watch these videos here, how to line search, because there's going to be a lot of line searches done on the 25th. I need people on the ground. Also, if you guys can visit the page later on today, I want to have a not really a full sign up, but just want you guys to keep it in your mind that I am looking for line leaders I look for leaders who will be in charge of certain groups that I will be sending out on a search, whether you're a hiking group or somebody who will be working with the ATV, UTVs. I do have someone in mind already. They'll be doing some things with UTVs, ATVs. But you guys, also the 7 tips, like I was telling you guys before on the safety briefing. This video is very good. She's talking about hiking in the desert. Of course, we're doing a formal hike, and that was the line searches. So you guys come prepared. I have a lot of items there that you should be bringing, like water. Make sure you have your electrolytes and things like that. We will provide some electrolytes and some water and stuff like that. But I want to make sure that you guys are bringing some of those things too for yourself, because it's very important. Like I said, very important for you to have you stay hydrated. Also, it's because it's Arizona and this time of the year, the weather can change on you a little bit. So I just wanted to say, just be careful. Just anticipating the weather. The weather can fool you. I just put it that way. It start off really cool in the morning, and then this thing, you're burning up. So you wear layers. Also, I'm telling you guys, also make sure you're wearing your hiking boots or some type of boot. Since you have those type of boots, I probably would wear my military boots. But some type of hiking boots, or no tennis shoes. No tennis shoes or sneakers, because they're cat tie out there, and they would stick the side of your shoes. So you don't want to get under those thorns and things like that in your shoes. If you happen to walk in the area that you're not paying attention, you step on one of those, it wouldn't feel good. Trust me, I got stuck by some cactus before driving one of the UTVs, so it didn't feel good the whole entire day. So yeah, just be careful with that, as well as, like I say, the layers, so you be able to cool off as needed. So, all right, back to this here. So, like I said at the beginning, guys, if we go back to the page at the beginning, go back to the home page. You also, let's see if I can get here back to the home page here. One time I had an issue here. Let's see if I can get it back here. All right. Okay. Just go back to the home page. Like I said, you guys who are just coming in, you got some information right here on the front page as well. But like I said, hit the events button to get to sign up, and also you can go to the volunteer, the search tab as well. So those are 2 options that you have where you want to do this whole search. That's what I said. I just want to make sure you guys are aware how to utilize the page. Please help finddane.com. It's simple type deal. How you can utilize that to sign up. So, go back to the homepage. One more thing I forgot to show those who probably just join in. You also can look down here. You see the protest is postponed. That would have been this weekend, but that is the search is February 25th. As I said before, if you guys come down here as well on the homepage, some people may come out on the 25th or get ready to come out on the 24th for preparing. If you need directions for wherever you got a hotel, you come to town, or you're already in Arizona, you can go to the front page here, pleasehelpfinddane.com. I just want to make sure I didn't leave this out. Come down, stroll down here, and you have a map here. This map here, if you click this button, directions, which I'm not going to do today because it showed me from where I'm coming from. But wherever you're coming from, you hit that button, directions there, and it will take you from where you at, how to get to this location off Sun Valley Parkway, Cactus Road. So it'll be in this area here, right off I-10. Sun Valley Parkway runs up here, West Cactus Road. It's a little dirt road. It's not really, don't really exist anymore, but you can get the information how to get there by doing that as well. As you can learn more about the upcoming search, if you click here, of course, it's going to take you back to that page I told you before. Take you back to the search page. So those guys who come on the search page, you come down again, sign up on the event button. Those who's watching again, you can get all the information from my safety briefing or to some tips and things, how to line search and things you need to do to make sure you're safe. All right. So when you go out there to search. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining in. I'm David Robinson again. Like I said, just want to give you some information about this upcoming search, and I want to provide that. So I'm getting ready to start this Q&A. Thank you guys for like having your patience and waiting for that. But we get ready to start right about now. Thank you.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I still have those thoughts. I will find my son. Thank you guys for coming in this Q&A this morning. I'm David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son, Daniel, a geologist that graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. My son decided to take his career out to Arizona and start his life as in his field of geology. He's landed his first job in life with an engineering company called Matrix New World. It's also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater, located in Phoenix, Arizona. They hired him on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. What he does on that job is he goes out to various well sites that he is assigned to check the viability of these wells. What they do is have him go in there as a geologist to determine if these wells will produce at least 100 years of water. That is something that's required by law in Arizona. Each community had to have these wells, and each of those wells had to produce enough groundwater to sustain that community. Also, they test the water to make sure the water is safe to drink. So his job is very important. On June the 23rd, that's exactly what June the 23rd of 21 is exactly what Daniel was doing that morning. He had received assignments on his work computer that had him going out to 2 well sites for that day. According to his company, he did go to the first well site to complete a job. What I do know about that is Daniel took some pictures of some logs there at the first well site. And from there, this when the story gets weird. Of course, Daniel had to reach out to meet someone from a company called Weber. His name is Ken. He is already at the second well site location, according to him, waiting on Daniel to arrive. Daniel did reach out to him several times. First he called Daniel called him back, and they did not have a direct communication at the time. Daniel was trying to get locations of the area. He sent him a text message to ask how to get to his location. Ken at the well site did not return a text message or give him a call back on the matter. So it seemed to be that Daniel decided to try again at 9:28 that morning to get directions. According to the worker who was already at the well site, Ken, my son met him on Sun Valley Parkway on the side of the road or just outside of that Sonoran Desert. My son followed him into that desert. They went 1 mile west and 2 miles north to get to the well site. They arrived at the well site, according to Ken, around 9 o'clock. At 9:15, my son was gone. He pretty much had a conversation with him, he says, and my son waved off to him and left at 9:15. Of course, again, my son did give a phone call for directions around 9:28. So those timelines did not meet, but at the same time, Ken said that he went out to search for Daniel. It's because of the length of time that he was gone. Of course, he said it was raining. One party says raining, one party says it's almost about to rain. So there's a confusion in the story, but he nevertheless said he knew that Daniel Tretz went to the west at the T junction because everybody else's track has been washed away by the rain. So he saw fresh sets of tracks, and he followed those, which was going out west. I want to describe, you guys have came here before on the Q&A and talk about those things on the west, about the vehicle going west. If you guys can follow the terrain, I will be talking about this afternoon on this evening's Q&A. If you guys come back, the Q&A prime time, we're gonna go back over the story of the well site. But before then, I just want to put out some news that I'm very happy about. This Q&A is going to be a little bit talk about some of the struggles that I had to go through just before coming out to search for my son. But I just want to give you guys some really, really, I think it's very good news. It's been over a year searching for Daniel. It's been very hard, been very stressful. There's been a lot of emotions there, despite if I'm not showing it or not. You guys, it's very painful, very hurtful. It's all kind of mixed emotions. Some moments I'm happy, I'm joking all the time, trying to cover a lot of that pain. But I'm really happy that sometimes you have to keep struggling, you have to keep fighting, you cannot give up. And I'd say that to a lot of families. If you can, try to do everything you can not to give up on your loved ones. If you see things not going the way you need it to go, you fight for it. And with this fight, and you guys have been helping me, like I said, nothing that I have done in Arizona thus far is without you guys. Everybody who's listened to my voice right now, and those who's not, who's been a part of this whole efforts to find Daniel, this whole efforts to get justice for Daniel. I'm really proud to say that even though it's been over a year, going on 2 years, we did get some movements from law enforcement. You guys know I've been fighting to get law enforcement to come out to searches for over 40 some weeks. Could not do that. I did invite Buckeye every search actually to come out to my searches. They have not come but to 2 of those searches, and those 2 searches were direct requests to Chief Hall at the time, asking for resources, for them to bring resources out to me. They came empty-handed on that first occasion. They came out there, no help at all. They just came out there to I guess stand there. So they're there for that little moment. The second time they came out under my request was to bring the resources to check these mines and these wells that was out there that I located. They did try to check one well. They didn't do it on that search. They came out there empty-handed again, but they promised me to come out during a weekday, which they did. As you guys know the story behind that, the Buckeye Police Department utilized a camera that touch the surface of the water and pull it back out and say there's nothing else to see here. Very disappointed. I had to end up calling, get my own company to go in there and do the search correctly of those wells. I could not do the mines, of course. I don't have the equipment, don't have the company to be able to do it. Don't have the permission from BLM, Bureau of Land Management. So those wells, those mines, still to this date need to be checked. They're right there in the proximity of where my son went missing. Also, but the thing, like I said, to get to the good parts of everything is that with hard work, efforts between myself, my team, Larnell Farmer, and some of the others in my team, you guys as well, with your calls and your pressure. You guys have been doing a lot. As you guys call, I guess you guys email, you guys have been doing that. So I really appreciate it. Every effort that was out there got law enforcement to move. As you guys know, that I was able to get the Tempe Police Department to do the forensics just on the electronics. The other goal was with the conversation at the time was getting Maricopa County, which have a large facility to handle those things, to do the forensics on the vehicle and take possession of those as well. The airbags, the clothing that was found on the ground. As you guys know, we as a family don't even identify those clothes, but we want to make sure if it was Daniel clothes or someone else's clothes. But the thing is, we have Maricopa County to handle that. Of course, Maricopa County at the time had declined, but I know that the Tempe Police Department did conduct a forensic search of those items, the electronics. That means his personal computers at home, as well as all those the laptop and everything that was found on the scene, the phone, and also the phones that we found in the area where Daniel went missing. So Those things were already taken care of. Like still fighting right now to make sure that the vehicle, like I said, goes to Maricopa County, as well as those the clothing items, as well as the airbags. Those things still need to this date need to go to the Maricopa County. But there's movement. There's movement. I'm really, really, really happy to think that Sheriff Zone will be taking possession of that really soon. It's very hard for me to house you guys evidence that should have been in the evidence locker to this day. Buckeye Police Department damaged that really hard, giving me those things for safekeeping without holding on to those items. I'm housing those items, and it's very expensive, you guys, to do that to make sure that it's not losing the DNA integrity. It's also bad because the chain of custody at the time was broken by the Buckeye Police Department. But you know what? We're still trying to do the best we can on that. But I do, like I said, very happy to with the pressure from you guys, the pressure of myself and my team. We did have the Buckeye Police Department to go back out to that same well that they when my son went missing at to do a search of that well again. They just did that last week. From what I was told, I think it was last week or a few days ago on Monday. But either way, they went out there again, and they, according to them, they did it the right way. Did it the right way. They took the cameras down on the well, just like I did with the company. To go down that well, they went in there themselves. They say they was wearing body cams and things like that. So I will be getting those type deals eventually, and to get information on how they pull things out of there. They say they pull those things out. You guys know I had a concern that there was a appearance of a human skull on the bottom. I had some forensics experts to look at it as well. They was concerned. So I was able to get Buckeye Police Department. I'm really happy to hear that they actually went there to search that well again and pull those items out of there. So as it stands right now, those items were pulled out of there. And according to the Buckeye Police Department, there was nothing there. So good news, Daniel's not in that well. According to the Buckeye Police Department, nobody's in that well, according to the Buckeye Police Department. So I'm really pleased to hear. They said not even the animal remained, according to the Buckeye Police Department, was in that well. So those are good news. It's good news for me and my family. Not kind of take some edge off that wondering about that well with all those things, those items, all that tons of dirt that was dumped down in there, and all that kind of stuff. It takes some pressure off of wondering about those things. So I'm still gonna be working some things in the background about that well, but for right now, I'm really grateful that this thing was finally done the correct way. It took over a year, almost 2 years, but you know what? It has been done. The second part is you guys after working really hard. Saying you guys have been working really hard as well. Like I said, is to get the law enforcement to move again. Was able to get them to, as you know, I had the protest coming up that would have been coming on the 18th this weekend at the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. And you guys, I sent out that protest ever since December, and that was because of the protest and also the search. So all that information to law enforcement was done ever since December, the first part of January, and and that protest was based on I'm housing all this forensics work. I thought I had some little type of agreement at the time where Maricopa County could take on my son's case. Saying my son was missing in Maricopa County. Maricopa County has a jurisdictional responsibility. I still say that to this day. I will not let off on that, you guys. I'm not going to let off that paddle. They have a jurisdictional responsibility to my son who went missing in their county. Also, Tempe Police Department. My son is a resident of Tempe. So all these departments need to come together somewhere. I don't care how they do it. Come together some type of way and to make sure they're looking out for my son on his behalf. They find ways to do things like that. Like I said, you guys, let's change the scenario and put it to a law enforcement officer they found the vehicle same as that way. Those agencies would have worked really hard together to find. They'll break all kind of jurisdictional problems just to make sure they're looking out for that one officer or one of their children. So of course, like I said, much as I think of people, Sheriff Zone or whoever, I'm a father, and I'm going to make sure they're doing the right things, right? So, but like I said, I'm really happy that they decided to. I don't know. I'm still holding them to coming to the search, you guys. I'm not going to let off the pedal. I'm not going to let off and say, hey, you know what? These guys are doing something else on their own. They don't need to come to search. This is community effort, you guys. This search is not just for you guys and helping me search this certain area, but it's also a community effort for law enforcement to show their face. It's for a chance for them to show that they are who they say they are. They say they wanted some community policing. Well, let's see you out there on the 25th and do your community policing. So I'm definitely want to. I put the information out there to them. I talked to the higher ups of these departments. So there's no excuse. There's okay, say I didn't know, or I couldn't plan. They have ample time to plan. So all those things, I don't know how they're gonna work it out, but we need to see law enforcement's presence out there on the 25th. But at the same time, you guys, I'm really happy that I did talk to the Sheriff of Zone's office in Maricopa County. I was able to put this protest on hold pending some other things that we discussed. I will not be able to put that out here on this Q&A, but some other things that we discussed, and that's why you guys see it says pending. It's pending because make it easy to come back. I just say, it is not the type of threat and thing. It's justice for my son. So I just want to say, hey, look, I'm going to make sure that I'm looking out for the best interest of Daniel, not the best interest for law enforcement. They okay. I'm looking out for the best interest of my son, and I'm going to continue to fight for him. Also, the Maricopa County will be doing their own search for Daniel. They decided to do one after I sent that information out about my search on the 25th. I'm pleased that they are going to do a search, and they're going to utilize all the stuff that I gave you guys. If you get what I'm saying, is I've been asking for this stuff for day one. When I asked them to go out there and use the helicopters, go search for Daniel out there in that desert at night, they declined and said they're going to do it in the morning. I'm very happy they're going to do it in the morning, but then the morning came. You guys know the story. The Buckeye Police Department unauthorized that flight. They canceled it only from an assumption Daniel wanted to disappear on his own. Like Daniel told them that or something. He wanted to go on his own, and if he's a grown man, he wanted to leave. He can't. Who told him that? So I'm saying these are the urgencies that I've seen in some of these other cases, guys. And we always keep bringing up the Tito case, for instance. Those urgencies that we see in these cases or whatever. That's all I've been asking for from day one, you guys, to get law enforcement to show that efforts and show that support with each other, whatever they got to do, bond together, whatever the case would be. I'm not law enforcement. But what they should have done at the beginning is show the same thing they're doing today, almost 2 years later, in my son's looking for my son out there in that desert. Instead of myself as a father putting together a grassroots search that lasted over 40 some weeks without law enforcement help, to go search for my son myself. That should have never happened. That should have been one of the first things that law enforcement had done for me and my family. And I'm pleased to say that the Maricopa County will be leading that sometime this month. I'm not going to put the date. I know the date, of course, but I'm not going to put that day out for their sake. I don't know what they're trying to make sure the public not there because they're doing it in a professional way. When I say professional way, they're utilizing their resources. Believe it or not, they're using their resources to go out there to search the desert area for Daniel. So I'm really happy. I don't know what part of the desert they're going to be searching or reasons why, all that stuff. I'll be getting briefed on that some other time later. But for right now, I just know that we'll be having those searches for an entire day whenever they do it. And I will be part of that. So be part of that effort so I can have an assurance that this thing has been done. So I can feel great. I can report back to my family as well. But definitely, you guys, we want to see, like I said, them out there on the 25th with us out there, showing their presence, to be out there with us and as community to do something that's been going on for a long time. It's been going on for almost 2 years. My son has been missing. It's been going on for a long time, and we need law enforcement to show their face, show their love, show their support. The way I get it, you do police work. They want to do the search thing. That's police work. Finally, you want to do that police work. That's fine. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing with the community, what I'm doing for my son. I really need them to show up. So hopefully, I don't have to come back here on the Q&A and talk about why they didn't show up or things like that. But hopefully they will send some representative for something going on with law enforcement to be out there on the 25th. All right. So again, I was wanting to talk today a little bit. I see I'm a little fuzzy on the screens here. I'm trying to look on the Facebook side and those as well as look at the YouTube side, and I'm looking at the feed. It's coming out really, really fuzzy and really bad. So I apologize, you guys, for the bad feed. I've been having that from time to time doing Q&As. I did get an alert from StreamYard that I used saying, hey, some people having a hard time on their lives today. They're trying to work out some issues, so that might be some of it. But nevertheless, I want to talk about what I came to this Q&A this morning for. I don't try to make this whole effort for my son anything about myself. Guys, I say it all the time. My efforts is about Daniel. I love my son. I'm his father. It's my birthright to look out for my son. I love being a father. I'm really happy to be a father. And, I haven't had a father in my life growing up. Of course, I grew up in a single parent home. My mother, I had it was like I had two mothers. I had my mom and my auntie, mostly in my upbringing with my siblings. When I say siblings, I have my younger sister. It was my younger sister and me only at the time, and then, like I said, when my auntie and all of us was together, is that I was the only boy in the house, basically, the only boy in the house, and it was a really rough bit of boy with girls, So, but the thing was, but I didn't have that father figure there. I didn't have some of the things. So my mother, she made sure she kept me in the church and to put me around real men. So I learned a lot of stuff from mostly everything I learned about being a man who came from church. So I was really happy about that. My mother had stepped up and did her part as a mother and made sure that I was okay on that side. But like I said, I try to make sure this whole Q&A and this whole efforts to find Daniel has nothing. It's not about me. It's about finding my son. At the same time, I was thinking about this. You guys have been going on almost 2 years now, and that's why you probably see the little difference on the front page of the template for this Q&A this morning. It's because I do want to talk about me this morning. When I say talk about me this morning, I want to talk about some of the things that you have to go through and get some real thoughts to people, what you really go through as a parent, what you go through as a family member when you have a missing loved one, all the ins and outs and things like that. Some little things about myself that I'm ready to talk about, period. Sometimes people have their own truths. Some people have their things they want to talk about family wise. And guys, you don't see a swarming family presence around me. You probably see my team, they come on the Q&A as well as they coming out to the events. We went to Crime Con, they had the team there. We go out to when I had to go to talk to these law enforcement officers, have these meetings and stuff like that. My team is there, that type stuff. We go out to the desert. This coming on the 25th, my team would be there. So I do have a family in the sense of you guys are my family. You're my extended family. What I'm saying, my immediate family around me will be my team. You don't see a whole bunch of moving it from my blood family out here in Arizona in the efforts. Don't mean they're not back there, they're not talking, they're not concerned. I'm not saying that either. People have their lives as well. It just that I'm saying is that, be me as a father, being here fighting really hard for Daniel, it's not easy. It's not easy on every front. Saying you have other issues. You have a normal life. When I say normal life, you have a life going on before. I had a life going on before my son went missing, meaning that things was done in a certain way, certain aspect, but then life get disrupted when something tragic like this happened in your family. So I just want to kind of talk about some of those things, talk about some of myself, and not gonna be a whole lot because this Q&A will be forever. I'm sure my team would say, David, hey, it's going on 3 hours, going on 5 hours. I can get to talking, but I wanted to say, to you guys, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for being attentive to, the needs of me finding my son, the needs of that I need with this whole effort. Like I say, just coming out to Arizona for the first time, I remember just not being able to even didn't even think, saying sometimes you guys, when something like that happened, and it's a spur of the moment, your mind is not thinking. I didn't plan anything. I didn't say, hey, I didn't have time to plan. All I heard was on the phone from Buckeye Police Department was that they weren't going to look for my son, right? And coming from a history from where I come from, I came up with a history of being attacked by law enforcement. I have scars on my body to this day, you guys, from law enforcement, from getting beat up by cops for no reason, just for simply from when I was growing up, simply stand on the corner with my friends and we talking about girls. Cop roll up in a minute and start chasing us. If you get caught, you know what's going to happen to you. You get beat up. So that type stuff. No reason. No reason. But I can't go into those details, but I'm not going to go in there today. But that's the kind of thoughts, mindset I had against law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? At the time, when I say against law enforcement, that's the way I've seen law enforcement. I've seen before cell phones was prevalent like we have now, people taking videos and stuff. I had lost a lot of classmates like that, getting shot in the back by cops, you know, just because, you know, that type stuff. So, you know, we see those things happening easy, you know, easy. But now today's is a lot easier to videotape, and with the new body cams and this and that, things have changed a lot. So you know, so you have that kind of thing. You try to make sure your children don't have to go through the same thing that you had to go through growing up. You think that you know maybe life would be a little different for them. Make sure you know things are a lot better. So you try to fight for those things. So of course, my mindset's a little different, but at the same time, I'll try to become an officer. I tried to become an officer in Washington D.C. With my brother, my step brother, and he and I was going in trying to get in the cabinet at the same time. I fell out of it really quickly after I found out how the rookie cops get shot every year. That put some little thoughts in my head. I backed out of it. He's a retired guy now. He's a retired law enforcement himself. He stayed in there and did his years, and he's a retirement. So I don't have anything to say, hey, you know, all law enforcement is bad. I know we need cops. We need law enforcement. And this whole bad apple stuff, as we talked about last week, you guys, I don't believe in that either. The bad apple stuff. I believe in if you have bad apples, you're a bad department. You know, because your department is only good as your weakest link. And if those weak links are people who going out doing crimes, as you see some of these cops going to jail for now, then the whole department is messed up. You know, so you cannot say I'm a good cop, but you got bad cops there. We only got a few bad apples. No, your whole department is a bad apple. So the bunch is the whole batch is rotten. So that's the way it looks. But anyway, again, you guys, just coming out, like I said, having a life as a retired military guy. I got my phone call from my daughter. It's very stressful to hear her. You know, at the time, you know, didn't know what going on. Very stressful to hear my daughter express her concern. You know, of course, I love my babies, my daughter, and I wanted to make sure that she was okay. Try to keep her calm and things like that. So it's from a distance, you guys. It's really far from distance. No, because you feel as a parent, you feel helpless. You can't be there to, you know, in a sense, rescue real quick. I had 2,000 miles or so between me and my children at the time. So you know, of course, like I say, my mind was just totally just done. Just grab everything I could, you know, saying without even thinking, throw it in my car, what I think I have needed at that moment, like quick moment of moving around the house. And I took off, took off. That's when the thoughts got to me once started moving, getting across Alabama and going into Mississippi. Say, hey, wait a minute, I could have just took a flight. You know, that's my mind pretty much going for that point. But you know what? You don't think that way. You just go off of impulse, and that's what I did. You guys know that when I got to Arizona, it was really difficult as well. I haven't been to Arizona. I've been to Arizona before, been to Phoenix before, passing. I had just only stayed in Phoenix for a week in the past in my younger years. But you know, those times has changed. It's been different. Got to Arizona, didn't know the cost of living to you name it. I did not leave South Carolina with for sale sign on my house. I was pretty much going and go ahead and get to Arizona to go locate my son. So very high tense time. That's travel. That made it even longer because you can imagine a 6 hour flight versus almost 2 day or so ride. You know, just going across the country. That give you a lot of time to think. It give you a lot of time to have to deal with things that you can't control. You have to deal with things on the phone and make sure that uh, you know you're handling your business, but you can't physically do nothing. You know, so you're just talking. Everything got to be done by voice. You got to try to talk to the family and try to calm them and keep yourself calm as well. Keep yourself level head, all while driving. You know, so it was very long road, long ride. I felt like I couldn't get to Arizona fast enough. Very frustrating. Trying to get to Arizona to find out what's going on, to try to find Daniel at the time. Felt relieved a little at the time because the Buckeye Police Department law enforcement time was very communicative to me, going back and forth on the phone. When I called them, they were answering the phone. So I was able to give information and get information as I was traveling. But once like I say, made it on the ground, you guys, the first thing is I had to depend on was law enforcement. That's who I was communicating with. Picked my daughter up, and she and I would ride around Phoenix. She knew a lot more about Phoenix than I did by she living there, and just riding around trying to just get information how I can find Daniel. Didn't know what to do. You guys, it was very frustrated as a father. She looking up to me to do something. Of course, she's in the car. Of course, I have no clue. You know what I'm saying? I reach out to the NAACP. That was very difficult, of course, and I can be honest with that. It's very difficult. They didn't have a location. Went to it's funny. We looked it up and Googled it and went to a location, and it wasn't really there. It was like a empty field or something, like a little plot or whatever. Uh, a little area. And it was like, wait, where's this place? It was riding around. It's very frustrating. Of course, being a black person, the first thing we were reaching out to the NAACP as well as Red Cross. I was familiar with Red Cross being in the military. Red Cross would help out with so much stuff, and I tried to see how I can utilize that to get things going. Some type of help in some form of fashion. But that didn't work out either because of COVID. I went there. We went to the office there in Phoenix, and it's literally like they had their doors open, like the building was running itself. Nobody we didn't see anyone. They had little papers and documentations on the table that you can take, and this and that, and phone call this that person on the door, but there was actually no physical person in the building. Like you could just walk in their office and do whatever. I didn't really understand that, but we were looking real hard. We're trying. Then we decided to go and do some things, as in searching for Daniel ourselves. And one of the biggest things was because of who Daniel is. He's a very, very a person that loves to travel, a person that loves to, like I said, learn about other people's cultures, a person that like to do a whole lot of things. And so one of the biggest things was, hey, let's check the airports and make sure that he did something he normally wouldn't do, and that's to take off and go on a flight or whatever the case may be without letting anybody know. And that's, like I said, that's just something Daniel just don't do. But you know, uh, you still have to do your due diligence as a father. I say, hey, look, we just got to, regardless, just and I learned that from some of the stuff from church too. But just say sometimes you have to go through the process to make sure that you find answers. So, of course, it's a lot of pressure was there. A lot of family members at the time was calling, trying to get information. I knew I have Daniel's mother that I had to update at the time, give her some answers. She wasn't out in Arizona, her and her husband. But just wanted to make sure that I was able to give them information as well, and some feedback to his siblings, Daniel's fifth siblings. So it's a lot of pressure. Just start building up from that point, you guys. You got family from my side calling as well, looking for answers and trying to find out what's going on. And so you got that in your background going with family side of things, and also things when it comes to law enforcement. You have all those things tugging together at one time. So very difficult, very difficult. Some people ask, hey, look, where did you go to a point where you're not showing, I guess, so much emotion? You guys have never seen me out crying, crying and things like that. Don't mean I don't have those moments where I have really, really hard moments. But you know what? I try to make sure that I'm very, very present when it comes to make sure I handle all of the stuff with Daniel, the situation with Daniel, with law enforcement. The only best way I know how, you guys, is to not be that way. Is because of, like I said, my military training. You guys hear me say that a lot on these interviews and stuff, and I really relied on that. I made that choice when I was I know I was going to meet my daughter once I got to Phoenix. I wanted to make sure I was strong for her, definitely. So she needed that. She was taking it really hard. She had to take a lot of time off from work. But she was taking it really hard. And I wanted to make sure that, she had her father. She needed me as well. So the only way I could do that is to rely on my military training, which I still do today. Is I remember in basic training, one thing that I got from my drill sergeant Hammond, was her name at the time. She's always whisper in my ear, that's a method to the madness. It's a method to the madness. And, so you never get those things in basic training, but they actually not only training you how to defend yourself, how to fight, but they also mentally train you as well. Some of those things was going on, and at the time I didn't really understand it. But as you, going farther out of basic training onto your career in the military, you learn why you learn all that stuff in basic training. You learn why you utilize those tools in a war situation is because it'll keep you from getting complacent, and it help you complete your mission that you're trying to do. Keep you safe and keep you alive at that as well. So yes, the training helped me out. That's one of the biggest things I had to think of on that road. Like I told you guys, it was very hard mentally just to be driving and feel helpless. Thousands of miles, you're trying to get there fast as you can't. So it was a really hard ride, but I had to put it in my thoughts like, look, I am a soldier. I'm a soldier for life. This is what it is. And I had to rely on that training. Say, hey, you know what? My son is my mission. I had to take it that way. He's my mission, and I have to complete that mission. So to be able to do so, I had to put aside those things. Now, going forward, of course, the frustration of the desert. You guys know I'm a veteran. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. I have my own issues, of course, being a retired military guy from war. As you guys know, I did suffer a brain injury in Afghanistan. That's why they medically retired me at the time. That led to my medical retirement. So I do have issues with some of the things you have to live with also from war that you have to take care of when you're out in those the sandbox. So those things you carry with you in life. You get to a point in life where you decide, hey, look, I'm getting away from my military memories. You kind of move on with life, enjoying my life in a sense, as in retired military guy, and do some little traveling to try to live a normal life. And then next thing you know, you're back into the desert again. So, like I said, you guys, when I say in the desert again, the desert out there, the Sonoran Desert, is not too much difference from Afghanistan. The difference is all the ravines and the the ups and downs and there's certain little things out there. The terrain is a lot different, but the desert itself is pretty much the same. It's just that seems like the Sonoran Desert have a lot more vegetation. But back out in the desert again. So it was a mental thing for me. I remember when I wanted to go out there and search for Daniel, the Buckeye Police Department advised me not to go out there. That vehicle I had, especially, they did tell me those things. But being, like I said, a veteran, I knew about how the desert runs over there, and certain things you just can't do. And so I've been smart about it. It's hurt me, but I've been smart about it. Hey, look, I'm not going to go. I was about to do it anyway, but it's been pretty much hurting myself. So I would stay out there with those binoculars and look almost every day as I can from the roadway, Sun Valley Parkway, thinking I could see, because it looked like you could see, because I have a really good binoculars, trust me. I was scanning those areas thinking I could see Dane's vehicle and go rescue him that way. Um, but it's a mental thing because I'm looking at that desert and it's bringing back a lot of memories. That's why you guys, if you see when you see me out there on the 25th, you'll see me with my military clothing on. It's a symbol for me. It's something for me to say I got my boots back on the ground again. My boots is on the ground. Those same boots I use in Afghanistan, I'm putting those boots in Arizona. So but it's something that helps me to continue what I'm doing. So you guys see me dressed that way. Those are the reasons why it helps me mentally. But just being out there to see that desert and just give you a constant reminder of what happened in Afghanistan, and give you a constant reminder of that your son is going is out there somewhere possibly. It's a really, really it was a hard part of doing, getting out there in that desert. Of course, but my mindset, like I said, I had to put it towards Daniel to make sure that I stay there. I stay there and in that one place, and make sure that my mind didn't waver over to everything that's going on with me, things that I've been dealing with on my own. I had to put those things aside and make sure that I keep that focus on Daniel, keep that focused to make sure I'm getting the justice for Daniel that he deserved, and as well, as a father, to make sure that I'm there for him because he need me and I need him. Of course, you guys. So that's part of some of the stuff I wanted to talk about this morning is the difficulties of some of the things you do mentally, personally. Personally for me, not everybody will say military stuff or what they had to go through on that part. But as a parent, saying you guys can also see from a parent standpoint. You hear something happen to your child. I don't care what it is, broken arm, broken leg, or they out in the desert lost somewhere or something happened, your mind freaks out, you freak out and you definitely want to do something quick. One thing that parents do not want is their children to leave this earth before we do. Saying this life is order is not that way. You try not to think that way as a parent, but that's one of the things that you worry about. So you want your children to outlive you. I look at my children. One thing they can tell you, they used to call me the lecturer. I didn't have, like I say, a father to teach me anything. So what I had to give my children when they're little is examples of what they shouldn't do based on my own life, the decisions I make. I don't believe in you need to learn from your own mistakes. No, you learn from other people's mistakes. You just got to pay attention. Why go through something unnecessarily? So I was able to share those things with my children, and they called me the lecturer. I'm sure they said, "Hey, man, here go Dad again. Oh my God, here he comes with these things. I always got to tell us stuff, right?" But it worked. So I'm looking at my children and say, "Hey, look, you want them to outdo you, outshine you. You want them to have a better life. You want to make sure they're okay. And when you get some situation like what happened to me and my family, it tears you apart. It tears you apart, especially when you don't have an answer. You don't know what's going on from a parent standpoint. You don't know what's happening. You know, I don't think you can keep seeing this child. Sometimes I have people that's close to me say, "Well, you call your children my babies or my child." Oh, I'm searching for my child. Or whatever the case. Yes, he's always going to be my child. They always going to be my children, regardless how old they are, how big they are. I know you guys have parents that probably pretty much say the same thing. But from a standpoint of a parent, we were there when you were in diapers and when you couldn't talk and couldn't even walk. So of course, those mindsets are still there to us. No matter how much you grow and how fast you grow, you still your parents' children, right? So, of course, I say those things, but that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what's in the mindset of a family member when they're missing their children. As in a loved one, I haven't lost anybody, the adult, to being missing, but I'm sure as a family member, just having even an adult missing, you worry based on those things that that you're familiar with when it comes to your relationship with that person. Whether you're a parent of an adult that's missing, it's still going to be the same thing as your child. But if you're a friend of a person who's missing, you worry about those things from your friendship. So everybody have their different ways of grieving for those persons that are missing. But I can say from a parent standpoint, it's really rough because all kind of thoughts and ideas come across your head, and you don't want to definitely want to give up on your child. That's one thing for sure. You don't give up on them. You bring them to the world. You want to see them succeed. You want to see them do well, and you don't want to give up on that. Make sure they have a better life and things like that. So, of course, of course, it's been rough. It's been very rough. But again, you guys, that's what I am today. I'm gonna look at some of the chats real quick, and I'm gonna talk about some more of this. But I want to look at the chats, and because I'll keep going on and on. I'm looking at the time. I'm already at an hour, and I really thank you guys for just listening, hear what I had to say this morning. I'm trying to make sure I didn't write anything. Just kind of go off of what I'm feeling as I go. But I want to say first of all, for a few of you that's here, thank you again to 883, and I thank you for still coming out and enjoying the Q&A from England. I really appreciate that. SS England, thank you so much for your support, your constant support. From over there. That's a lot of love, and I really appreciate that. Also, thank you, Esan, for being here. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for your support and coming out. Team Wildflower as well for everything that you do, even in the background end. Good morning to you, and I really appreciate it. Good morning. Also, thank you, Shauna, for being here as well. Thank you so much. Of course, As you guys know, I had to give you your titles, Shauna. Thank you for being here, first of all, and showing your love. And thank you for being the secretary. Did I get it right? The secretary of the Daniel Robinson Foundation, also being my friend and also a part of the A team. So I'm really grateful for you being here this morning, moderating. Also, thank you for putting out the information, you guys. Don't forget about the public search on the 25th. All hands on deck. I really need everybody that I can get out there on the search. I do, like I said, have closer to 200 that I've been asked for. I need a minimum of 200. The others, yes, I need all of that too. But I definitely need the minimal of 200 people. So I really think I already have that number. So I'm really happy about that. That's a blessing, you guys. When I say this, it's a total blessing because you guys didn't have to come sign up. So I do have people signing up and that. And I think, Sophia, if you can come down this chat, you can give me those numbers that we have where we're at now that already signed up. That'll help me as I'm doing this Q&A. Also, thank you, Sophia. Speaking of Sophia, thank you so much for being here, Sophia. Good morning to you. And thank you so much for being the treasurer of the Daniel Robinson Foundation and also a friend of mine and board member, 18 member. I really appreciate you for moderating and helping out and being here always, constantly. So thanks so much to you as well. Thank you, Sean, for putting information. You guys have a lot of this right here. I put it on the screen for those who are not on YouTube, who may be watching off of Twitter or Facebook. You may not be able to see some of the things they put in the chats unless you're on the YouTube. What I did is try to put a YouTube link on those social media accounts. So you guys, if you want to do it, watch this off of the YouTube, you can. You also could get information from the moderators who we put a lot of information in the chats. Also, thank you again, Shauna, like I said, for being the secretary of the Dan Robinson Foundation and being here this morning. E. Sands, thank you so much again for being here. Also, I want to go back what Shauna have here, you guys. If you have any questions, you guys want to ask of me as I'm doing this, I am talking about some things with myself. But if you do have any questions, even about me or anything, you can feel free to do so. But make sure you put that, if you have a question, put that capital letter Q, the word question, or some question marks before your question, and that would definitely help out. So let me see here. I need to move something real quick here. I'm seeing this bandwidth is going really bad. I hope you guys can actually see me. I see a lot of freezing up. So, but anyway, if you guys not having good quality, again, I think they have some issues with StreamYard today, and I'm doing the best I can this morning with that, and hopefully they'll get it straightened out. Ruthie Player, thanks so much for being here as well. Hello to you as well. Thanks so much, and thank you, Larnell. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. For you being here, also being the board member, being director of the executive director of Daniel Robinson Foundation, as well as a very good friend of mine, a brother, and as well as a team member, the A team member. I really appreciate that. And all your other accolades, being a retired law enforcement officer. So everything that you do in the background to help the community, I really appreciate you, brother. So thanks so much for being here as well. Also, thank you, Yeti Concon, for being here this morning. Thank you, Esther, for being here this morning. I really appreciate you guys for being here. Earth, thank you so much for being here off the YouTube side. Good morning to you. Shauna, thanks so much for putting that and remind me. If you guys are here for the first time, please hit that like, share, subscribe button because that help with the algorithm. They help me get Daniel's story out farther. They'll be able to help me help other families as well, get my message across. So, you guys have grown this channel up to 2.26 thousand subscribers. We can do a lot more too. Just definitely, if you're here for the first time or just hit that like, share, subscribe button. If you guys can even do some hello or something on the comments, that would also help with the algorithms to get this channel out a lot farther. So thanks so much in advance. Also, thank you, Brooke, for being here. Thank you for thinking about me and my family. I really need that, and thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate it. God bless you for that. I do have a question here from Mallory. Thanks so much, Mallory, for being here off the YouTube side. Why is the protest postponed? The protest is postponed because I had some talks with Sheriff of Zone of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, and that's where we would have had the protest at for some issues. You guys know my issues is to get the Maricopa County to take on my son's case. There's no need to have the Buckeye Police Department to continue doing what they're doing. I'm trying my best in the background to get the Buckeye Police Department, and that's what we're gonna go as well, you guys, to get the Buckeye Police Department to do the right thing. I get it; they all about their pride and their the way they look and the department look and all. I don't give a damn about the way the department look when I say that, and because my son's life is at stake. My son's finding my son is at stake, so I don't care about the way they look. They know they lost credibility with me and my family. They know they have damaged my son's case with this breaking the chain of custody. They know they didn't show the urgency at the beginning. I have no faith. They know that I don't have any faith in that department. It's nothing wrong with them if they have any kind of integrity or any kind of something that's right with them. They'll do what I'm asking them to do. Just simply move my son's case over to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. And you know what? Sheriff Bazone have that jurisdiction over where my son supposedly went missing. So it's easy for them to just simply let my son's case go. They're holding on to it. I really appreciate they say they went out there after almost going on 2 years to go search that well, find the correct way. All of that is, I want to say a little too late, but you know what? I'm glad it was done. At the same time, I'd say, hey, look, just do the right thing and move the case over. It's simple as that. I don't want you handling my son's case. You mess it up enough. I want it to be moved over. So I think they're using the Maricopa County will have some some roadblock or pull back a little bit because they keep throwing off as, oh, it's Buckeye's case, it's Buckeye's case, it's Buckeye case. It's the case is almost like it's just uh, like a game. Oh, it's like a possession or something. No, this is my son. My son don't belong to any one of those. Any of those departments. I just need them to do the right thing with the law, do the right thing with the resources they have, and so on to find my son. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, Buckeye Police Department need to move that over. But as in for why the protest is postponed is because I do have that conversations with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office of things they say they will be doing. So we do have it postponed until the end of the month, and then we'll make some decision from that point. So the end of this month, according to our talks, Maury, I won't be able to discuss that openly what we're talking about. But we have some good talks. I'll just put it that way. It's very good talks, but said talk is good, but I like to see some actions behind it. So hopefully those actions come right behind that. So that's what I'm looking for. Twistina, thanks so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And it is some good news of things I had to share with you guys earlier. Thank you again, Mallory. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you, Nikki O'Shea, for being here. Thank you so much, and for being here, showing your support. Ruthie Player, again, thank you so much. Thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate that. Essans have a question, you guys. The street where Daniel's car was seen, have you searched that area? Yes, I have. Searched. I had what I had at the time. Maybe I am a step ahead of law enforcement. I don't know, but at the time I had got my leads and information, and so on, and common sense. There's a little bit of everything. Common sense too, and good detective skills. I want to give myself a pat on the back for that. And that's the be able to do what I had at the time. I don't know if you guys remember. I said, "Oh, we got a special ops search," and special ops. I didn't tell anybody the location till the day of the search. We all met on Sun Valley Parkway as normal search time, but I had broke off a group of people who want to go on a special operations search with me. They followed me over to that location where you were saying East Sands, and we did a proper line search of that area. Not only once, so we did a search twice out that way. Also had another gentleman out there who found human remains out there in that way. According to Buckeye Police Department, it's not Daniel, thank God. But sadly, it had to be somebody else's family, as well as we found a lot of other things out in that area. Oh, it's just really horrible. People like to dump their animals out that way as well. But just be able to search that area, which still need to be searched a lot more. I just didn't have the resources and to continue the searches that I really want to do in those areas. And I still have reasons why we need to continue to look into the area. But you guys, that's like I said again. This is certain things that law enforcement should have been doing. They're doing it now. Certain things. This big search is coming up. almost 2 years after my son went missing. But nevertheless, there's certain things finally being done. But yes, but I was well ahead of that. I did have a search out there before East Sands to search that area. And I do have some information back from that, but that's some stuff I just definitely can't share with the public. That's something law enforcement had to catch up on. I gave information like this law enforcement, so they don't say that I'm holding back. I think our Chief Hall tried to, Buckeye, literally, you guys tried to accuse me when I asked him to can they get FBI in, or I sent him a letter before about them coming out to help in the search. He tried to accuse me of falsely accuse me of holding back information or evidence, or something, hold back information from them somehow, like I work for them or something. The way I take it, I'm like, I don't work for the Buckeye Police Department. I'm not on their payroll. They on my payroll. They using our tax money. So but they try to put it off as somehow I'm holding back information or something for them. I gave them too much information, you guys. I gave them so much information, you guys. They didn't do anything, but they're taking credit. They put in their police report, this and that, and so on, so on, so on. Put it on their website, and this left things and stuff they claim they did, that we did. When I say we, is my investigator that I hired. So it's really my investigation stuff that we gave over to him from the 11 additional miles and all that stuff we gave to Buckeye, to the point of just even in the searches, we found human remains, to you name it. I had my website, which is still set up that way, for volunteers to go out there to search, take pictures through my website, and those copies go to the Buckeye Police Department, as well as my investigator at the time and myself, with the coordinates of those. So I've been doing field work for the Buckeye Police Department, if you want to say. And also, I had them attached to my own private money that I paid for, private tip line. You guys can see that shows on the bottom from time to time. That number had that attached with the Buckeye Police Department until I took them off from that. So for tips, you guys, because I think what happened is the detective called me about some tip that came on my tip line that I'm paying for, and didn't share it with me fast enough. I'm like, well, how's that? I'm paying for something and they ain't gonna share it with me in my own tip line. So, that type deal. But anyway, remove them from that though, that tip line. But as in the street searches over that area, East Sands, yes, yes, yes. You guys know I'm supposed to be talking some things about me, but it is about my son, of course. But I am gonna go back to some of those things I want to discuss about how hard it is searching. Also, thank you, Nikki O'Shea. Thanks so much. Thank you, Lisa, for being here. Thanks so much for your prayers. Thank you again, East Tea and Wildflowers. I really appreciate that. I do have an East Sand question here. Is there a certain amount of time that passes in a case where the FBI won't get involved? I don't know. I don't see a reason why. I don't see how that can be possible. If there's any kind of information that comes up that warrants the FBI, yeah, they need to come on in the case. I can't say they're not in the case now. They're probably just quiet. You know what I'm saying? But I would find that out sooner than later. I've been getting empty promises, you guys. I get word from the background. Oh yeah, the FBI is gonna contact you in a day. They said it for about 2 months now. But like I said, there's some things that you guys don't hear me say in the public, because of what happened to me. I got burnt last time by the FBI. Said it was gonna do this case briefing with the Buckeye Police Department, which the Buckeye Police Department did behind my back. Knows the story about that. And I went out in the public and said, "Oh yeah, I'm really happy. Oh, the FBI is coming to my son's case finally." And then just to hear the Buckeye Police Department tell me that FBI think I'm doing such a great job on my own, they ain't coming. So, and to help out. And so, so I just don't want to get embarrassed like that again by the FBI or whoever. So I just kind of keep that quiet until I really know that they're being involved in Dane's case to date. All right, and also thank you. Let's see. Okay, I see something funny here, and I only can imagine, Shauna, what you were saying here. You guys, I think that's probably more of like an inside joke. 3 to 5 hours of me talking, yeah, it's possible. So time to go by, especially if I take one of those other Q&A. You guys, I had I think I was really tired, and I took one of these. They had some little shot that I forgot to call it, but but it's supposed to be something to help you, if you feel sharp or something out of it. Oh my God, that thing had me wired up. So I felt like I was talking for 30 minutes, and here it is going on 3 hours. So yes, it can happen. So all right, that's an inside joke. Tracy, thanks so much for being here as well. Thanks for your question. Are you able to share what the possible skull-shaped object it was in the well? I'm asking for those footages what Buckeye took out of there. One thing, like I said, I don't have faith in Buckeye. I don't have no trust in them as well. And I have my reasons why with my own investigation. I share those things with other law enforcement agencies. Now, they did the search. They say they did the search of this well. They with this company, pull out something from that well, these things, items, or whatever. I wasn't there. I wasn't present to see none of that. They, of course, again, anytime Buckeye do something, of course, they're going to do it without my knowledge, right? And then tell me after the fact. I just so happened to call the detective for a different reason to remind them, because I couldn't get in touch with Chief all the time, remind them that I had to invite them out to my search. And then he said, "Oh yeah, by the way, that type deal," and told me about this resuming of that well they did. And I think he said he was just leaving the area when I talked to him the other day. And so I'm saying is, they'll do that kind of stuff. I definitely don't have any confidence in that, but I will need to see or get an inventory as well of what they say they pull out of that well. I need to know what items were that, like you said, Tracy. I need to know what my concern. I still have that video, and I'm still gonna have my concern of what was pulled out of that well. I definitely need to see those body cam footage that the detective Biffin say they're wearing, and also the footage, because I know that when we go down in the well to go check things, your guys see my footage, and those are things are recorded. These are cameras that actually go down and recording. So I don't know what type of cameras they use. They could either do like they did at the Waffle House. Say, well, we don't have no video. The first they say that video, then say, oh, we don't have no video, and they give you still footage, camera, pictures of the video with the camera. I guess their cell phone camera or something, and say that something hidden. I don't know, but I would like to know in-depth stuff. Again, guys, you probably already tell. For over a year now, almost 2 years, I'm not the kind of father who's a detailed person. One thing I learned in military too, I love my military training, you guys. One thing I learned, and I say it to soldiers as well in my time, is you have to pay attention to details. You have to pay attention to details. Always look at the details and pay attention to those. And a lot of times, law enforcement tell on themselves because I look at details. I listen to what you say. I look at what I see, and I pay attention to those little small details. So you have to pay attention to details, and I would find out more information about, like you were saying, what that possible skull shape was. But those are the concerns that I had from that well as also, and also from those who are on the professional side of things. E. Siebert, thank you so much for being here as well. God bless you for being a part of this Q&A. I'm trying to read what you have here. Terry C. I don't know if that's something that, let's see. A.G. Myers and Buckeye LE. We're not stop. Yes, thanks so much for putting the information up there, and I really appreciate it. We are here to and we love you. Thanks so much. Love you too. Thanks so much. God bless you. And thank you also, Lois, for being here from North Carolina. I really appreciate it. Near the state, near my home state. So thanks so much for being here on this Q&A. And thank you, Shauna, for putting this. You guys, again, if you're not on YouTube, and if you'd like to be on YouTube, the way that you logged in on this Q&A, if you did it through Facebook or through Twitter, I did put a link up there on those two, so you can do it off of YouTube if you have a YouTube, and you can see some of the things that the moderators, my team, as well as Lois as well, to be able to put some information out there for you in the chats. Elle, thanks so much for being here. Ellie, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate that. And thank you. And you know what you say? I heard that this case first on Kendall Ray channel. Yeah, I want to say, Kendall Ray and her husband, Josh, very good people. They flew me out to Colorado, treated me very well. They gave a really huge donation towards the GoFundMe, as well as share Daniel's story, like constantly sharing his story from out here. And so every time I hear Kendall Ray, I like to say thanks to her. I wish I could speak to them a lot more, reach out to them, have a busy day and neglect to do so. But really good people. When you meet them in person, man, I guess how you guys may see Kendall Ray and her husband on the set, on the screen. That's how they are in behind the scene too. Whatever you see, because what I got when I was on their show The way they treated me there, as well as the background, is the same. It's the consistency the same. He took me to the airport. He picked me up from the hotel, and the personality, the person they are, is just exactly what you guys probably see on their channel. So yes, I want to tell them thank you again. Say Now on Crime Weekly with Stephanie Harlow. I don't know who that is, but I'm really grateful for them as well. And retired police detective Derek. I'm not going to try to attempt to say the last name. Are you in contact with them? No, I'm not. Kendall Ray, though, yes. But I do have contact with them. But as in the others, I don't know who they are. But I'm definitely been reached out to by some other channels, and I will probably be doing some more of those as well coming really soon, because I'm talking to some people in the chats and behind the scenes as well that want me on. So yeah, it could be one of those as well that you speak of. I just can't remember the names right now off the top of my head. All right, thank you so much, Jet, for being here, Jet Setter. I really appreciate that, you guys. Also, thank you. Let me see who else I got here. Did I say Ruthie Player already? Thank you, Ruthie, for being here. I really appreciate you being here this morning. Katie, thanks so much for being here this morning. See if I can get you up here as well. God bless you as well. Thank you also, PM Channel, for your question. Thank you so much for being here as well. Were you able to occupy them? Were you able to accompany them during the search of the well? No, and that's a problem. Like I said, Buckeye would do something like that in a minute, like they did with the case briefing that my attorney sent. I mean, it wasn't no like, oh, we didn't get the letter or get the information, the request. It's like, let's say he sent that, for example, he sent that notification that, hey, send a response, hey, we are going to in the future. We're getting ready to have this case briefing. We reached out to the FBI to get this case briefing at 1:00. At 2:00, my attorney, for instance, I'm using an example, sent the request to Chief Hall directly, asking for me to be a part of that case briefing, and they did it behind my back, and then come with that bogus thing about the FBI. Think I'm doing such a great job on my own that they didn't have to come. So, and that's the reason why they're not there. I don't know what they told the FBI. I'm sure they told them everything that I've done, showed them, present everything that I've done, and kept it as their own. I'm sure they did all that, and then the FBI looked, oh, they did a good job, like that agent said to me in my face. So I wasn't there to watch that. I wasn't there, like you said, to watch this resuming of the well. But to Sheriff Zone's credit, he's making sure I'm there for the to kind of help oversee, in the sense, the search effort they were going to be having pretty soon. Buckeye do things behind the cracks or crevices or things like that. So I don't know what happened out there in that well. I'd like to see what the body footage show. I don't know what happened, but I will be getting those things. I will be asking for those things. We got freedom information. I am a victim. Arizona have a victim law that I will be utilizing as well, and so victims' rights law. And I am a victim now. My family and I, from Daniel going missing. So I will be getting those kind of information from them as well. And I want to see this footage and see what they say it was pulled out of the well, and how they did it, and all that kind of stuff. All right. So I would like to get all the information. Also, thank you so much, Snaggy Beats. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate that. He said, hello, what do you think about European energetic problem? I'm not sure that has anything to do with what's going on here. I'm not sure. I got to look at that. West European energetic problem. I don't know what that is. So thanks so much for being here as well. Thank you, Nye, for being here. And let's see, who is that? We have a question here. The remains they found. Okay. Who was it? The woman found the remains. I did not hear from Ellie. Who was that? It was posted out there on the local news in Arizona. I don't know if you're in Arizona now, but there was information put out who the person was for those remains that was found out there by one of the volunteers. I can tell you, she's. I'm not gonna put her name out there because she probably don't want it. I'm not sure. Even though I know she did post some things. but she's a volunteer, you guys. I mean, very passionate about finding Daniel. She and I have our conversations about her going out there by herself sometimes, going to search because she lives in Buckeye as well, and she goes out to those areas sometimes in different areas, looking for Daniel, and this is off the public searches, you guys. She's been doing it since Daniel been missing, since we've been out there in the deserts searching. Since my searches paused, she still was going out there searching for Daniel. So I really thank her for that. But then she ended up running to these human remains. So one of the things I was really concerned about her is seeing that human remain and her and listen to her voicemail. You know, yeah, it's not good when you're looking for someone and then you find those. But like I said, God bless that it wasn't Daniel. I know despite some people saying, "Hey, I hope it's Daniel," that's not something me and my family hoping that is Daniel. But if it is Daniel, we did want to bring him home. But nevertheless, it wasn't Daniel. And now they did put it on the local news about the person's identity. I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, went missing himself. From what I'm hearing, for a little time, few months I think it was or something. And but anyway, they located his family. So the sad part is that family had to go through that. They have some form of closure. I'm sure it's not the closure they want, um, but they had to go through that closure. And so I just say, hey, pray for that family, what they're going through. But yes, uh, they did put information out there. Also, thank you, Stacy. Always praying for Daniel and the family. Thank you so much for your prayers. I really appreciate it. Ruthie Player, thank you for your question. Have you and your team ever spoke to Lawrence Jones from Fox? I don't know who that is, but no, I don't know. Unless my team have, I'm not sure. But speaking for myself, no, I don't know who that is. But I will be trying to look out for that. Also, I'm gonna go a bit real quick, you guys, to continue on what I was saying about some of my personal self. Um, as time go by, you guys, it's more difficult. It's more difficult to keep my composure at times. You guys know that one time I stay on. When I say I stay on track, I stayed on track to not share so much of me, or try not to share so much of what's going on at the time. But I seen some things are necessary. Like for instance, I decided to put more details about what's going on in the background sometimes out because public opinion is huge. You guys have the right to know. Sometimes you find things out there, especially if you're supporting my efforts down. I wouldn't get support from law enforcement like I wanted to at the time, so I want to make sure I was able to engage with you guys and give you as much information that I can. That's the reason why I even started the Q&A and things like that. That's also stuff where I started when I first came out, to Arizona. But to make sure that I'm able to engage with you guys and give you some information, so you guys can be a part of everything I'm doing with Daniel, and make sure that I find him. So again, so like I said, it's not easy as time going by to just constantly keep your composure. That's why you see on Q&A sometimes smile. You might hear me slip out and say some profanity or something when I get a little angry about, because there's a lot of things going on in my head, you guys. A lot of things I can tell you a lot of times I sometimes want to say. But I learned the one thing as a kid too is tact. You got to be careful, and you got to be able to control what you feel sometimes. Just hey, look, I want to say some stuff. It wouldn't be pretty, but I try to make sure that you do the right things, as in uh, controlling those things. So definitely, yes, it's not easy. It's not easy, especially when you're frustrated, and you kind of see things that can be done a certain way, and people drag their feet. Dragging your feet is causing law enforcement to finally, which I'm not talking against you guys, them finally doing something. I'm grateful and happy that they're doing. I just know I won't say grateful. I'm just happy that they're doing this now. What I'm saying is, back then, you know, um, yeah, I get frustrated. I get frustrated. You watch and you can say, hey, look, um, cut through all that red tape. Stop playing these games. Stop passing the ball, all the stuff that's causing my son to be missing father and father. I know the reason why. Guys, if I go back through this timeline that I'm trying to get together, my team and I eventually have that stuff together. I've been trying for over a year to put this timeline thing together for you guys to see my report. And I've been saying that in the past. Um, you'll see what I'm saying. It's a bunch of BS that you have to deal with. Let alone you guys going out to search for your children or your family member. You open yourself up to the public. I had to open myself up to the public. I'm not a public person, so I'm not a person to say, oh, I just want to be in the public. Heck, I didn't want to be on a camera, but I was able to do what I'm doing and got to a point where now it's easy for me to do. But yeah, you open yourself up to the public. When you open yourself to the public, you open yourself to all kind of other things. When I came to Arizona, you guys, I had to deal with death threats. Can you imagine going through a death threat when you're out just simply looking for your son? That start making you think like, man, what's really going on? Like why is somebody wanting to do harm to me just for out to search for my son? That was very difficult. For me, the military guy, some reason I didn't have no fear of that. It just made me angry. It made me angry. Dealing with people who's crazy. There's got some crazy people out here. You guys see that sometimes on the chats. Somebody coming up, put some porn stuff or some dating app things and stuff you see coming up in the chats. You guys, the moderator, have a hard time trying to get rid of sometimes. But you got crazy people out there, crazy people who don't have nothing better to do in life. They're miserable, like the old saying said, misery love company. They're miserable in life. Their life ain't worth nothing to them, and they want to try to harm other people's life as well. So I had to deal with that, you guys. I had to deal with those kind of things that came my way. I remember this again. Y'all probably heard the story before when it came to Daniel. The death threat against me was the one thing. The other part was when somebody saying something about my child. I got this text message. I was having a great day. You guys have been donating, been doing some stuff. I was at Sam's Club, and I was out there to get a lot of things that the volunteers would need out in the search. And I was going down the aisle, and I got this text message on this phone, on my public cell phone. And make a long story short, the guy just simply said, whoever it was, simply saying that they had Daniel, they broke his legs, and this type stuff. I had all kind of mixed feelings at that day. Hey, look, I felt like I just want to take everything and throw everything around inside that Sam's Club. But that was the emotional part. The other part is what is this? What is this? And so to make a long story short, just to have to sit there and go along with the crazy person for a moment and dealing with this for a little while, those things that bother you, especially you don't know as a family, but you have to use your wits, you have to use your smarts, you have to use everything you can to not fall for the okadoke, is what some people like to use. And some people try to run you for your money or anything. You know what I'm saying? People look for opportunity when they have a person they feel is vulnerable. They have a missing loved one. They know they're emotional about it, and at the moment they are kind of vulnerable in their state. They may be able to fall for anything. So I had to make sure that I had to sharpen my mind really quickly. But it messed with the wrong person anyway. But sharpen my mind really quickly and be like, hey, look, nah, no, this is not gonna roll. So I had to deal with stuff like that. I did reach out to the FBI early on, you guys. I was told to when I had the death threats to reach out to them. I did a report with the FBI of death threats. But the FBI did is tell me I had to go to Buckeye. It's all kind of things. I don't know the reasons why, but it's kind of things that still stun me to this day. They said they did it. They said we'll do a report, but you need to go to Buckeye and report it to Buckeye, and then Buckeye had to call us and invite us to come in to check it out or something out of it. So I did that. I went to Buckeye and told Chief Hall and all them about what the death threats was, and they didn't do anything about it to this date. You guys, you probably even hear Chief Hall pretend as if he didn't know. I didn't know nothing about this over almost several months. But that type deal. So it's a bunch of games. But the point is, I'm saying is, you guys, dealing with people like that is one of those things that was one of the first things that I had to deal with emotionally when it comes to crazy people. You put yourself out in a public sphere. You put yourself out into the attention of all kind of people. Sarah Sidner from CNN, I said this before. She was out spending some days out there in the desert with me and her and her camera crew. And we was out in the desert one day, and I told her about the death threats, and she says, "You too?" And when she said it, I was really, taken by that. She says she looked at the camera guy and said, "How many death threats?" He said, "Man, I lost track." So long story short, and she told me, she said, when you put yourself out there, you realize how many crazy people are in the world, not just the country, United States, but in the world. For her perspective, she's actually traveling. But for me, you find out how many out here in the United States. I had to deal with people questioning me about my intentions. You guys have seen me fight hard. I stopped my own personal life. When I told you guys at the beginning of this Q&A today, I had something going on with my life in a certain level where I was comfortable. As in, my children were doing well. They're becoming adults and doing their thing. I retired from military guy, being able to do all the things I want to do in life, as in travel. I like to travel as well. Daniel probably get that from me. I love to be around water. I love to be around. Though Daniel wanted me in Arizona really bad, I'm not a desert person. I'm a water person. I like to be on the beach. I like to jet ski. I like to be, around water. I like my skin getting salt on it from salt water, whatever the case may be. I like to see palm trees, real palm trees, that type stuff. I'm just a water guy. If I had my dreams, I would go deep sea diving, that type stuff. So I'm that kind of guy. Looking forward to doing certain things like that in life after my retirement. And, like I said, changed over. Things changed over, and your person go missing, and you have to go do some other things. But again, you put yourself out there around people. You put yourself in. You had to deal with certain things. But I had people that try to scrutinize me, my intentions of me fighting for my son. You know, I wasn't out, like you probably guys you hear me say all the time. I'm not out on a vacation because, like I said again, Arizona would be an ideal vacation place for me. But I'm not out on vacation. I'm not, on some joyride or anything like that. My son's missing. I was broken, a broken guy, broken man, and just not being able to be there at the moment. My daughter contacted me and said some guy coming to her apartment to search for Daniel, and she knew something was wrong. Immediately, I knew something was wrong. He'd answer his phone. I knew something was wrong. Then I just talked to him 2 days prior. No down is what the Buckeye police would. It's kind of amazes me when I had to hear those things, and especially when they lied and put false information on their report about what I said. Um, but it never dawns on me how the public, I just put it that way, will hold on hard to what law enforcement say, despite if they're wrong or not. But hold on, and then go by a narrative that they built about Daniel. A narrative could be built about my son based on with people that don't know my son, right? It's almost like, yeah, Mr. Robinson, I don't really believe you've been in his life in his life, been around him all his life. I think the coworkers been around him a lot more than you have, or something. I don't know. So it's hurtful to even sometimes I think about how things go, and I have to fight. I do have, like I say, family members as well that didn't help none. Didn't help none because some of the comments and things they would say. But when you have to, as a father, fight for, not only I have to be a little biased, of course, but you have to fight for your child's, it become a public thing. Mine Daniel would have went missing, nobody knew about it. It's been a little different, but it became a public thing, and now you have to fight for his integrity, who he is as a person. He's a scientist. He's a brilliant guy, smart, very good personality. He'll take his shirt off his back to help anybody. You can look at the picture and see all the friends he have. Again, he's a family-oriented person, always upbeat all the time. Daniel help other people become upbeat. So not saying that he's don't have nobody have any, he don't have any flaws. Everybody have flaws, What I'm saying is that when I had to listen to people make assumptions or make an idea about Daniel based on what somebody wrote or what they feel versus against how I feel, it becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying, to me. So it's very hurtful as a parent to have to fight against certain things. And then especially if it comes from family. Like you guys know on the Discovery Channel, I think it was disappeared. You guys know I was really uptight about that episode. I really, again, thank them for putting that. I even heard the other day somebody said it was in I forgot what country that was. They played it in some country. The other day they sent me a message out. I'm really happy to hear that Daniel's story is going across waters to other countries, right? But at the same time, as a father again, as the kind of father I am, and I'm really fighting right now to give you guys some more details. I know the family is going to be pissed off about, but it's one thing I probably would do anyway today. But um, as the kind of father I am, I have to say it like that. I have to defend Daniel at all costs, right? So, um, you know, um, uh, just looking at that episode, it hurt me. There's a lot of things that wasn't accurate on there as well. But the biggest part that was really hurtful to me when I watched, I just watched it on you guys. I watched it one time. I watched it one time because I saw one area that I just couldn't handle. The rest of it I was a little uptight about because it wasn't the narrative wasn't drawn correctly. And I did see Daniel's mother and his brother on the show, and you know they didn't videotape that with me as well. They just took my part from a. I did a interview with some other, I guess they're partners, and they can use that video as well. But when I saw the episode, man, I was taken away by the portrayal of Daniel having been, his mind state was based on his apartment appearance or whatever. And he was going through some things, and like his mother, I saw pain, or something she was saying, and I saw pain, and I'm listening to the stuff like, first of all, not take away from Daniel's mom. She love him. She's there for him and all of that stuff. But she was never in Arizona just one time, and she haven't been to Daniel's apartment but one time after my investigator did his thing, and after I started breaking things down to pack it up. So anything that they get is his side of the family. I'm saying with his mother as well as his older brother. At the time you guys saw that episode, that's from word of mouth. Those things are word of mouth. I'm there. I'm here on the ground. I'm dealing with law enforcement. I'm on the ground fighting for Daniel. So I know exactly where things are. So when I heard that, it hurt me. I have to say it like that because it feeds into that narrative that Daniel was somehow depressed. I'm depressed, but that don't mean I'm going to disappear. But it feeds to that narrative to give law enforcement some type of excuse not to do anything, or or somehow victimize, not make him a victim anymore, make him a accuser of his own demise or something. In a sense, this is the reason why he's gone, because he was out of his rockers and he just want to go away and join a monastery and become a monk or something. I don't know. So just listening to that stuff is eating me up, and that's why I really didn't really enjoy hearing anybody doing interviews when they don't have the full story. So just looking at that, and I saw the episode, you guys, and I saw the trash and like it was spilling over the dishes, dirty thing, and say, yeah, it's pain. I see the pain. I was so hurt, you guys. I just can't express that pain, that anger and that frustration that I was having at the time, just looking at that. And that's why I had to do something I really didn't want to do. There's a lot of things you guys won't know about Daniel's case. And I hear people say all kinds of things. They have their theories. They put things together. I get it. They get information from wherever about the case, but they don't have the ins and outs about certain little details that I haven't even put out to the public. And I know law enforcement haven't, because I'm wondering if they even caught up with some of the things that I know already. So I'm waiting, because some things they say, I'm looking at, especially Buckeye, I'm like, man, I knew about that like 6 months ago. I mean, why are you just finding this out now? So the thing is, just seeing that episode, you guys, that's why I had to show you guys some of the pictures. I didn't show you everything because the other things go towards my investigation as well. But I had to show you some of the pictures of Daniel's apartment, like, so you guys can see you see the video, you guys. The living room was clean, everything's common area, what we like to call it. And Daniel, he knows that, his siblings knows as well. If you're gonna keep your room dirty, excuse my spread, this is the truth. Keep your room clean. Don't get me wrong. But if you're gonna keep anything dirty in your house, your room is fine, maybe because it's off limits of people anyway, right? But keep your common areas clean because that's when people come walking in your house and they see the first thing they see is the first impression, right? So you guys seeing the pictures and things like that. Daniel apartment, young single man. Of course, it ain't the prettiest things in the world, but it's clean. You seen the trash can? They say, "Oh, trash hanging out and rotten food or whatever the case may be." It was nothing like that. Clean, nothing hanging out, no trash. And a matter of fact, the trash dump, I told you on a few items in that trash can when I looked. Also the sink. One, I think it was like the pitcher, water pitcher on the sink, and the dishes clean. The sink. He had one plate in the sink and something that like he must have ate something before he walked out the door that morning. And that was in the same. He pretty much came, and there wasn't no food in it, but he was probably gonna come back and wash that. But you saw the clean dishes on the rack. You saw the kitchen floor clean, all that stuff. And so it hurt me to be seeing that as a parent to have to go against family in a sense. So when I had to do that, and the way I was feeling is that I was going against the interview that his mother, and his brother did with ID Channel or whatever, it's Discovery Channel, whatever it is, and that hurt me. I really had people in my background say, "Where the hell they get these pictures from?" Like, who apartment is that? Who place is that? Where to get these pictures from? I do not know, but they definitely didn't come from Daniels. So, those type deals. So those are bad portrayals of Daniel. And so I had to make sure a couple things, just searching for Daniel. I had to look out for things like that. I had to hear those things people had to say. Hey, I forgot the word they use when people smoke weed all the time, a weed head or something. I don't know, some kind of word they use. I I know my team gonna get mad when I say this, so especially the Arizona natives. I'm not saying everybody literally in Arizona smoke weed, but it's a weed legal state. And my impression of Arizona when I got there, and I'm smiling at you guys because it's kind of funny to me. I can hear my team now. I can hear the background. But my impression was like, damn, everybody smoke weed here. I mean, I could be anywhere, and I know weed smell like. You smell it in the air, you smell it everywhere you go. I'm like, well, dang, they smoke weed in here too. That type deal. So I assume that everybody smoke weed in Arizona. So you want to say weed heads? So I said, yeah, you're gonna find it in Arizona. That's how I take it. May find it in California too. But some of those states that legalize marijuana, people going haywire with it, I guess. I don't know. But the thing is, but they'll say things about Daniel and by any stretch, you guys. I would never, ever, ever try to say Daniel's some type of perfect young man. No, I'm not a perfect person. I have my flaws. I have things going on with me that I have to work on with myself. Right. So I think everybody has something they can look on to say, yeah, I can prove on that with myself. He's a young man. Um, uh, you know, go through life challenges himself. Single guy. You never know. I know I'm a parent. Of course, I'm going to be somewhat biased, but I do know the overall nature, the overall character of my son. And he's, like I said, all those things I say about him is exactly who Daniel is. All those little small, you're not going to make the smaller sum of Daniel as the whole. We all have our little differences or things that we need to correct in our life, but you're not going to make that as the whole person of Daniel, and it's not. The whole person of Daniel is all those things that I speak of. Very intelligent, very friendly, family oriented, friendly person. He loved friends. He loved culture. He's ambitious. All those kind of things. All those great swelling words I have. That's the bulk of Daniel. And you put all those together, those things I say, and put it. That's the majority of Daniel. And then you have a small piece of those things that people want to say out in the public, and as in a way to demonize him, to make it like he's a victim of his own crime somehow, you know, that type deal. All right, so as a parent, I have to deal with that as well. One of the things is also I want to put out on this Q&A before, because I'm running out of time, is again, I spoke about this before. I even made a let me see if I can see it. I find the slide. I made a slide that you guys have to, when you go out to search for people, and you have to deal with you have to deal with you have to deal with a lot of stuff. I'll just put out, you have to deal with a lot of stuff that you're unaware of as just a person going out and look for your loved one. And sometimes you have to look out for people who's looking for a come up to try to take your pain. I can't find this right now, but you take your pain and use it for their own benefit. You have to look out for all of that kind of stuff. I had people come to me when Daniel first went missing. I didn't look for an investigator at the time. I was out there um, just searching. Man, we was out there from sun up to sundown, before sun up, all the way to almost sundown. Out there, it's 118 degrees, hundreds of volunteers out there with me, right? On a rescue mission for Daniel. I didn't need I didn't think about, I couldn't even afford a private investigator at the time, right? I didn't know how much it cost. I tried to look it up and all that. Man, them jokers charge a lot of money. I wasn't prepared to pay that right now, you know. So went to keep going and go ahead and keep searching for Daniel. But then when that vehicle showed up, I was forced to go ahead and do what I had to do. Hire a private investigator. But you know what? What I'm saying is, you guys, you get people from all walks of life that come. Some will come to you and they will help you, but really they're helping themselves. So you got to be careful with that. To get that distinguishing factor, you just don't know, and you know that you have to get all the help that you can get. So sometimes you have to, even though you may be keen to certain things just a tad, you still allow. It's almost like that thing, almost saying that you don't know the person, so I can't really use this fully until later. Hindsight, I can use it, but it said how you keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. It's almost like that. What you do is, one of the things I had to deal with is people coming to me, especially with private investigator. I mean, but they must have came out of the woodwork, especially when that vehicle showed up. And hey, I got this blah blah blah. I'm good at this blah blah blah. Even get them send stuff that they did in the past, whatever. But then you get the ones that actually say, "Hey, come to you and say, I want to work for you pro bono." To this day, my team would tell you guys, I'm be honest with you, I have a hard time when people come to say they want to do anything pro bono to me. I start backing up. I back up. I never did anything in my life pro bono. First of all, I pay for everything I get. I take care of what I have to take care of. That's I am a man. I do what I do. So I wasn't familiar with that. But in the circumstances, with all the searches and going out there and spending this money doing all this stuff, um, it came to a point like that might be a blessing. When you hear from a spiritual standpoint, say I have a spiritual aspect of my life as well. I believe in God. And so when people come to you and say, "Hey, I want to do this for you. I want to do this. I want to help," your mindset be like, "Oh my God, this is God giving me a blessing." So sometimes you don't want to turn down your blessings, because what I learned growing up, sometimes when you say no, you hold up the other person's blessing. They might be out there and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to do this so I can be blessed." And then you tell them no, then you hold up their blessing. So just go ahead and accept it, whether you want to or not. So long story short, sometimes you have to watch out that. I wish I had these slides. So I want to talk about that. That would be perfect right now, moment to say it. I just can't pull it up right now. But um, let me see if it's on this talking point real quick here. But they'll come to you. They'll come to you with this whole. Let me see if this is it right here. See if I can get this on the screen, on the full screen. I'll see if I hope this is it right here. I'm not sure. It says scammers. There you go. Yes. I had put this up one time before, and I was talking about private investigators. People take advantage of your fears, things like that. So it's good I have this right here so you guys can see this as well. Um, Scammers. That's what I call them right here on here. Scammers searching for missing loved ones. Um, you know, and that's a little link I put on there, and I talked about that. We're not gonna go there to the link, but what I can talk about this ways scammers take advantage of your fears. You get those phone calls, like I said, you guys. I was getting those, the text messages. I don't know how to get my phone, but number at time, I think it was a public phone, but they reach out to you and they say, "Hey, I want to do this. Send your credentials to this and that, blah blah," and then they say the lure is, I want to be pro bono. All right. And okay, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Guys, I may have the wrong things up here. This is the victim warning signs. You may be a victim scammer. So let me see if I can get the right thing. Make sure I'm getting the right place I'm looking for you guys. Okay, what to look for. They look down at the 1, 2, 3, 4 bullet point. What to look out for and avoid when hiring an investigator. Uninitiated contact. That's what I'm saying. There we go. This is when people reach out to you and say, "Hey, I'm a private investigator." Send their credentials, the step blah 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 for no reason. You didn't even solicit them. They come to you. They come to you for solicit you, and you just come out. They come out of the woodworks, and I have had that. Check some of them out. They charging outrageous money, and I was like, no, I can't handle that. Not what I'm trying to do out in the desert. No, that's too much. It won't go in my budget. All right, so but you have the ones that come out to you and they say, hey, I want to do pro bono. Go back to what I was saying. You know, you at a vulnerable place, and these people come out to you guys in a vulnerable situation. I was in a vulnerable situation. As far as you guys know, see me as a father and say, hey, yeah, this man, he you know, he's like a man of steel or something. You know, having emotions, whatever. I have emotions. I'm in pain. You know, but like I said, I'm staying physically fit, mentally fit, and all the stuff by using my training. And I definitely try to you know, make sure I'm not being taken advantage of. But like I said, you can't control everything. So you guys look at it and say uninitiated contact. That's what they do. They give you a sales pitch and everything like that. Their accomplishments, and then they overly display their concern. They would say, "Hey, man, I've been watching this case, and I'm really concerned, and I'm really, you know, I feel like I'm invested in. I know I don't know you, but I feel so invested in this, and you know, I need to, I need the help, right? And so that's the way I say you get to hear those things, and those are some of those things like, hey, you're a veteran. You know, I hear that a lot too as well. You're a veteran, and I got to help the veterans and this and that and stuff, blah blah blah. Veterans. I'm gonna tell you something, you guys too. Veterans don't ask for. Well, I don't actually. I'll speak for myself. We don't ask for too much praise. I'm really grateful to say I fought for the country and stuff like that. You know, whatever situation may be for the country, I get that part, but you know, I hear people say that, oh yeah, you know, you're a veteran. I'm doing like, you know, some special favor. We're looking for special favors and stuff. No, not a veteran. But you know, anyway, they do that, and then they come up with the I want to do pro bono, and like I said before, for me, pro bono, the word pro bono at the time, with the budget I had going on with the desert stuff, you guys asking for you guys for donations to keep the searches going, and so on and so on. I like, yeah, this is a blessing. I say, man, this must be a blessing from God. But I was suspicious, of course. Set pro bono work. To make a long story short, I remember even you guys probably know where I'm alluding to when I say pro bono work. That was Jeff McGrath. Came started off that way. Hey, I want to do pro bono, and one thing I neglected again, like I said, when you're in an emotional state, you'll do things that's not in your norm. So you have to be careful. That's why it's probably sometimes me doing the time by myself. All the stuff I was doing by myself, guys. I didn't have an A team. I didn't have a team to watch my back. I was doing all the stuff at the time by myself. So there's a possibility for me to miss something, miss a little small detail that I should have gotten at the beginning. But anyway, I remember being out in the desert with Mr. McGrath at the time. He introduced me to some of his team people, and I sat there and I was like, hey, I just looked at him and say, why are you doing this? Why you want to do this for free? You know, like you hesitate a little bit. Well, you know, one thing I'm telling you, what the part that got me was, because I said nobody in my mind, I'm like, nobody don't do anything for free. What is the motive? What's you know, I get suspicious, right? And he says, because you know, something I forgot he said, but he was like, hey, the part I do remember, I asked him again, I said, well, no, but why are you doing it for free? And he says, because you're a veteran, you know. Then I thought in my mind, I said, but I ain't never told you I was a veteran. You know, so the thing was that made me feel well. But make a long story short, he didn't have any foul intent at the time. He didn't have any foul intent. He actually did a whole lot of work for me at the time and did really well. Of course, we made some agreements later where I ended up paying him what he asked for, and we made our deal. My attorney and I made a deal with him and paid him. He'd been paid full for his work and everything he did for Daniel Robinson, right? My whole efforts. So he'd been paid in full at the time. paid some really good money. I'll tell you like that, you guys. Made me want to go into private investigator. You get paid like that. Get paid really well, and for what he done. So I'm really grateful for the work he done with he did a very damn good job with the vehicle finding information that Buckeye is utilizing to this date as something they think is for you guys entertainment. I put it my opinions about that, the entertainment, and to call it their own. I did this and did that, blah blah blah. They're gonna put this well search. Thank God for after almost 2 years on their resume for you guys public consumption as well. But yes, but you got to watch out for that, you guys. So I had to deal with that. I will go to the details of that, but I'm not of the pains that came with that choice. Like I said, that's why you see me put on here. They come with no contract. So if you're a person that have a missing loved one and you're looking for private investigator or anything like that right now, and somebody say pro bono, please, by all means, I don't care what they say. And I learned this from my attorney. She says because make a long story short, when it was thrown at me that it was all off the wall, you guys, to that I no more pro bono work. Hey, this is what you owe me, basically. I was caught off guard. I was caught off real off guard. It bothered me. My attorney, she was happened to be in a meeting. We got off the meeting. She hit me up like, David, no, that caught me off guard. First of all, it embarrassed me. It caught me off guard. And but I understand Mr. McGrath at the time needed his money. And so of course, I mean, the crazy part is, you guys, even when he was doing pro bono work, I was paying him anyway. He was doing pro bono work, and I was sending him money anyway. What I think, I didn't know how much he was charging. He didn't give me a thing. If we start off pro bono, hey, look, here's 10 grand. Here's start paying him money, paying the guy money because I felt like he was doing a great job. But then he hit me with a big giant bill, and off guard when I wasn't ready, was anticipating. And like I said, he'd been paid. He'd been paid the money. We negotiated and talked about my attorney, he and my attorney at the time. But so he'd been paid. But as you guys know, he also just quit also as well. But not take away from his work, you guys. I'm saying you guys did a very good job, things like that. But I'm saying I'm trying to make sure I protect other people as well. You get somebody to say they want to do pro bono work, make them put it in the contract. Make sure you understand what they are doing. Make sure you have a clear. I know it's hard. It's hard when your mind is occupied like mine was on rescuing your loved one out in the desert or wherever you may be at. Your mind is on certain little details of that. You're not thinking about, oh, I need a contract. Oh, I need this. I need to do that. Whatever the case may be. So to this day, after that, you guys, it's hard for me to accept anything that somebody come to me and say, hey, I got some pro bono work. It's hard for me to accept that because I'm thinking some reason behind that. And so it kind of put a bad taste in your mouth, make it feel really horrible. So make a long story. But then also you have to rely on, this is gonna go past this thing here, so I'm gonna take off the screen, you guys. But it's you got to rely on also work from other people. Like for instance, I couldn't do these searches on my own. I had to reach out when I got to Arizona to go back to that, you guys. I had to reach out to people in the communities to get a search going. That's one thing I never organized anything before on my own, like organize some search or something like that. So I was fortunate to be able to sit down every night and try to put things together. I went on social media, reached out to everybody I can, narrow things down. I met a young lady. To this day, I don't know where she came from, but she and I had a discussion. Who she ended up getting me in contact with. You guys probably know. I'm not going to use people's names, but who was my first search coordinator with me. At the time we didn't have any titles and things, but he and I worked together really strong. He's lived in Buckeye. He'd been in that desert out there before. He know the terrains and things like that. So I was able to get all the information. I did my homework, my due diligence to learn about Arizona's desert, to learn about the washes to the the mines that may be out there, the vertical mines, horizontal mines, whatever. And the washes, like I said, the ravines and things like that. So I learned a lot about that desert, just doing homework in the background while I'm still doing things on policehelpfinddaniel.com. It was the first website I had. Once I was ready to get the search, was really quick, get the search together because I was desperate and needed to get out there to rescue my son and get out there really quickly out in the desert. I was able to work with this gentleman, and he and I created this searchfordaniel.org, and it was just for just strictly for the searches. He so happened to be have a company to deal with creating websites and things like that. So was able to get that website really quickly. I built the policehelpfinddaniel.com. I built that on my own. I do have build websites as well. So I do have knowledge how to build websites. So I built that for my son to put information about him and what's going on for the public. So those two websites were doing two different things at the time. As you guys know, if you go to searchfordaniel.org now, it would be redirected to, Please Help Find Daniel. The crazy part, you guys, with that, and I'm just going to put these truths out here. When you're dealing with people, you have to deal with anybody, whatever situation may go. I know these people are not going to like what I'm talking about right now, but there's a lot of things that goes on in the background that you guys may not be familiar with when you hear the story of Daniel Robinson. The father that, like the news like to say, the father that drove over 2,000 miles to search for his son, right? I laugh about that because, guys, I have my feelings about that. There's all kind of feelings about that. One of them is what father wouldn't drive 2,000 miles to go look for their son in my situation, especially when you got in your car and start heading out west without thinking. But it sounds incredible, but it's really not. It's just something that what parents do for your children. So it's not such a it's something that parents do. I just put it that way. But anyway, you have to deal with people, you guys, and when you're dealing with people, you have to trust people. You have to trust people. Take them for face value. I'm not going to take away again. Everything I'm saying today is I'm not taking away the value of the person and not really trying to demonize anybody or anything, but I'm just telling you the facts of things that went down. In the background, you had to deal with a lot. I had to deal with trying to coordinate a search with a person, and as well as doing interviews at the time. You guys know that I've been working very hard for 3 months straight, hard to get Daniel's story out on local news, and also to get it promoted on social media. To put it up on such a level where a young lady had did a retweet of one of my tweets, and it went viral, right? And that gave Daniel a little smaller, a higher level of a platform on social media. That caused Daniel's story to get picked up because of the Petito case, caused it to get picked up because it wasn't because the Petito case happened and like how they put it. That's what Daniel. No, it wasn't like something they just knew about Daniel. No, it had to be. It's hard work for 3 months to put it on a certain level for it to be picked up because of the Petito case. So the thing is, so make a long story short, just trying to do all that at the same time, you guys, and going out in the desert. I was tired, you guys. I out there almost every day working with Buckeye Police Department as well as going out the desert on my own and having the searches every weekend and then trying to get flyers and building. I had these flyers, man. I mean, I laugh. Something else smiling, you guys, because just talking about it made me feel something relieved. Um, I had these flyers about the size of a notebook paper, and I just laughed because I remember how the first flyers were, putting out the information, going to Staples and having them laminated and giving these big flyers to people, that type stuff, and giving these flyers out to people and helping them see if they can put it on their businesses and going out to the homeless shelters and going out to these hospitals and mental health places and stuff like that. So doing a lot of work. And then at the nighttime, at the end of the night, still working social media really hard, trying to keep Daniel's story out there, trying to push people towards the website, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And then my last thing that gave me pleasure, the only thing that gave me pleasure at night, you guys, and I probably only got about 1 or 2 hours of sleep every night, is to sit down after all of that to tell each and every person who reached out to me, thank you. And just say something back. I had started getting people giving me inboxes to hey, I'm here for you, or whatever the case that we want to say, whatever the case may have been. I've tried to reach out to every person, every social media, the text messages, you name it, to say something to every person before I go to sleep that night. It was hard. It caused me to get on about 1 hour sleep, 2 hours sleep at most. But I was able to do that for a long time, you guys. But dealing with the people in the background that was working with me, it got to a point where things were getting more and more people more involved. So I had to kind of more involved when I had to do more interviews and things. So I kind of tried to just have meetings to coordinate the searches with the person I was working with at the time. But then we end up bringing on a second person to do the logistics stuff. And then from there, things kind of transpire. But there's some things I found out, you guys. I want to put it out but I'm not going to put it out in certain ways. But there's some things that was going on in the background that I had to deal with. Getting stabbed in the back. It cost me money. You guys ask me sometimes what like dealing with GoFundMe. Trust me, I'm still going through get things checked out, but it costs me a lot. It costs me a lot, you guys, dealing with people. It costs me a lot dealing with people. I even had one instance where I'm not gonna put the name out again. They know who they are. They're listening. One guy I rent out these UTVs, ATVs. To make a long story short, I rent them out the quads and all the stuff for Mr. McGrath and his team, as well as my search crew, and myself, and sometimes the search crew. And the thing is, this one particular time I did that. Um, each of those things cost those UTVs, for instance, cost if you pay $37,000. I'll just put it that way. That's not what I pay you guys, but you rent them out. I always make sure I get insurance for them because you never know. You take them out to the desert, something happened. I had to pay $37,000. Of course, you have to pay those insurances. I put insurance on everything. Anything rather the U-Haul truck to you name, I put insurance on anything I rent out. But anyway, renting these equipment out costly, right? So this one person, we had just found those freshly human remains. I think it was during that day. And I said, hey, they came. I asked where the person was located. They said, oh man, he just took off. I'm like, well, he took off early. He took off early. I did, it was in the middle of the search. Like he just took off. To make a long story short, without going into the full details, you guys, the guy rolled the vehicle over. He rolled the thing over the side by side razor, whatever you guys want to call it. He rolled it over and didn't tell me. Right, he just took off. Didn't tell me he rolled it over. He went home to try to, I guess, fix it or something he was doing with it. And and the way I found out, a volunteer told me, and it was embarrassing, you guys, to have somebody working with you and they roll a vehicle over and don't say anything. And the volunteer say, hey, Mr. Robbins, I have to say something. I felt bad because I'm watching. You're trying to find your son, and this guy, he just took off. He pretty much, I guess, told him don't say nothing or something. I don't know. But the point is, you guys, I had to deal with the owners of that vehicle. Thank God I had insurance on that thing, but it cost me still with insurance, it's going to cost you money. And so I didn't have to pay $37,000, but I had to pay a couple grand because of that, right? Make a long story short is that you deal with a lot. You deal with a lot. You got a lot of stuff when you deal with people. I'll just use that as an example, you guys. It's some more details I wish I could go into to tell these truths. But it's the things that you have to go through as a person when you're out looking for your loved one and you trust people and things happen. For instance, the searches out there. We out there, and this probably is going to hurt a lot of people who's been out there working really hard. I get really passionate about the volunteers who come out there with me because I see you guys. I see you and I feel you with my heart. And these people come out, and the way I look at it, come out, take their Saturday off. They come out with me out there in that searches every freaking week. Some come out on the weekdays as well. And you're spending your own money. I'm not putting gas in your tank. Now, I did bought a lot of gas cards to give out to the volunteers who was doing the special ops and stuff. Nobody would take them. So those gas cards. But taking their own gas and money and time and away from home or whatever, they could be on the beach like I would like to be or doing something, but they come out to search for Daniel, somebody they don't know, but they feel really close with. We became like a family out there in that desert. still to this day, a lot of them that's coming out on the 25th, they're still my family, my extended family. So coming out there, spending your time and your money and your efforts, just doing all of that, and just to say that when you search in the area, and this not just for important to the volunteers, but it's important to me. I'm out there looking for Daniel. And so when I tell you guys I need all hands on deck on 25th, it really, I need all hands on deck. Meaning that for me as a father, I search every reasonable area that there's. It's intimidating. Every reasonable area that there's 23,000 acres of land, you got it, get it, right? But there's still a small portion that haven't been done yet that's reasonable to the information that we had about Daniel's disappearance, based on science. And this stuff is based on a lot of stuff like that. It's not just say, oh, I'm just going to search the Sonoran Desert. No, it's based on science, broken down in grids, broken down in lake locations. So things are very important. I have the website set up, you guys, for receiving pictures, receiving the coordinates. Like I said, the copies go to Buckeye Police Department, myself, and my investigator. So all those things are set up, purposely set up, right? And then you have people, of course, I didn't have time. Like I say again, being a guy that tried to do everything by myself, running the search, trying to do interviews, trying to get out flyers, trying to, to update the family. It's a lot of things going on at one time. And just to find out that a lot of information has been destroyed. A lot of pictures of remains that we found out there are gone. Locations where they were located are gone. So I want to go into details about that. The person who may be listening to this know what I'm talking about as well. So the things is, to go over areas that I see volunteers have worked very hard with me, the hard out there in that desert, looking on that ground. We finding human remains. We finding other things that's very important to investigation, not just for Daniel investigation, but other investigations possibly. And for someone to be very careless and cause some of those things to get lost, it's really hard, because now in my mind it make me go back to where, because those things been lost, like where did it come from, what we had to research again because these things been lost, and then you don't have a clue. So now it put me in a position where, as a father, like, okay, we did search this area and we do have those pictures, and those pictures need to be examined so we make sure law enforcement get those areas. But because they lost the situation, lost the coordinates, for instance, can't get those coordinates to those pictures. Now we don't know if that's where Daniel, God forbid, is, or somebody else is. Do we need to search this area again? So some things have been lost. To make a long story short, you guys, I don't want the volunteers to feel like they did something in vain. But I had certain persons in my team that really damaged that for me, and it was really hard for me to swallow. Because it's not just a search thing for me; it's an emotional thing for me. That desert is also where somebody say they last seen my son. It's also part of where the vehicle was found. That for me to look at other human remains that we found out there and know what the desert does to a human body, to even imagine leaving my son out there is hard. So long story short, that's very important. So yeah, of course, it caused a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. So I had to uh, start doing coordinating by myself. So you guys will come on the 25th. You'll see mostly this whole coordination is by myself. I don't have a search coordinator or some logistics. I didn't give people even those titles. They gave themselves titles, logistics coordinators, search coordinators, and all this stuff. I don't give titles, but people want titles. Start treating it as if it's a job type deal. I get it. But the thing is, it is a lot of efforts and a lot of pain and try to do everything. But one of the things, the good part of this light was when I met my new team as well. When I say new team, I have a desert team. Again, I want to put this really clearly that I love those people. My team in the desert, they know who they are. There's some people that are very close to me. When I say close to me, they're like my family. I can name them by person. They know where they are. There's some mixed blood and things that probably been misconstrued out in the desert, but I do have a team outside the desert. I needed that team. You guys probably, I hope she don't mind me saying that, but Shauna, you guys see her in the chats as well. She was out there in the searches out there in the desert. Her and my team, all of them been out in the desert before. And, Shauna, she saw a need. She said, hey, man, this Mr. Robinson doing all this stuff by himself. How can he do all of this as one person? And to make a long story short, you guys, she I didn't know what was going on with that, but you know what? She's come out to my uh, flyer distribution, going out and passing out flyers in the streets in Phoenix and put them on cars and whatever. You know, wherever we go, put these flyers out in shopping centers or whatever the case may be. But she, in the meantime, she was out there putting this team together. Of course, you guys see Mr. Farmer, Larnell Farmer. I've known him a long time. When I first came out of Arizona, I met him through a training event that was very great. So he was always, I knew him, and he did a couple things for me as well. But it was hindsight. She was able to put his team together, and Larnell's part of it. It was kind of like a small world type deal. Him and another gentleman, but she wanted to put that team together, and I called them the A team. They're my A team, meaning that they take care of a lot, you guys. So you guys hear me say my team. This is the team that's actually helped me take care of some things while I take care of things like the interviews. I don't have to worry about certain things. They're taking care of it in the background and helping. So I do get help now. I get some help. You guys also know the A team also became my board members for the Daniel Robinson Foundation. I told them what I want to do. Want to do something to help go back to the community, to help other families not to go through what I had to go through individually, to go find my son, to go through this pain of the painstaking work that law enforcement haven't done. But just help Mr. Pooley. I met Mr. Pooley as well through his brother, who was also at the time he was assistant chief of Tempe. Had a meeting with the mayor and him, and met him, and that's how I met Mr. Pooley. That you guys seen on the Q&A the other day. I met him through his brother, and so the thing is, everything fell in place for what's going on right now. So it helps out a lot, but at the same time, like I said, from an emotional standpoint, you guys, and from a costly standpoint, things just don't just go away. You know what I'm saying? So emotionally, it's still hard. I still don't have my son. You know what I'm saying? It's still fighting law enforcement after almost 2 years. Finally getting some real movement. You know, um, finally get some movement. So that's the thing. It was really grateful. I'm really happy about right now. At the same time, it's been a long time coming to try to get some movement. I'm not getting too excited because there's still a lot more work to do. So I don't want you guys to hear that I'll say, man, the law enforcement doing this and that's like the end, and we're not looking for Daniel anymore, and I'm not putting any more. There's no more efforts need to go into finding Daniel. No, that's we're not. This is not a cold case, you guys, and I want you guys to know that because it's going to come to a point where, from the court or the court of public opinion, I had to start putting out some details of things that I do know already for you guys, right? So, of course, all right. So, and the last thing is, you guys, before I get on the Q&A, I see them over there, and I know my team probably say what's going on. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes on this Q&A. But the last thing is funding. I have a lot more I could probably talk about this even on a Q&A prime time about me, David Robinson, going through the search efforts for Daniel. But one thing that I want to throw out as well is funding is the hardness of asking people for funding. Sometimes people look at $300 something $1,000 GoFundMe and say maybe you don't know a problem asking for funding. No, I do have a problem asking for funding. The biggest thing is I had to use, but thank God for my team. My team a lot of times encouraged me to do the updates and make sure I can keep the funding flowing. That's why you guys hear me ask you for donations. It's not an effort out there what I've been doing since day one. Like I said, people talk against my integrity. I'm not on vacation again. I'm not out on some joyride. I'm not collecting money just to go on some. I'm on a vacation, just enjoying myself or something. No, I'm looking for Daniel. I've been fighting for Daniel for over a year, going on 2 years. Those things are not free. You guys have did a couple things exactly as for. You guys go back on GoFundMe. The biggest thing was, like I said, coming out to Arizona, I had no clue how much it was going to cost me to be on the ground to keep my boots and fight for my son. I didn't have a clue of that. I found out very quickly. My daughter introduced the GoFundMe to me. I didn't know anything about GoFundMe. She introduced me to that. And I think the first thing we asked for, not knowing, I'm laughing because it was far too less than what we needed. 10 grand. I think it started off with 10 grand and then started adjusting it as time go. As we've been using, when I say utilizing the money to get those flyers created and to, I just want to back up a little bit. I did not sell my house. I do have a young daughter back in South Carolina as well. I do have things I take care of at home in South Carolina. So it's not like I just was traveling on 2,000 miles to Arizona with, like I said at the beginning of this Q&A, with a for sale sign on my house or something, or whatever the case may be. So life was still there. I had to take care of South Carolina home as well, right? My livelihood, everything I'm taking care of there. But then just traveling to Arizona, didn't know the cost. So I had to eventually just reach out to anybody and everybody who want to help for several things to help me keep my boots on the ground, as I like to put it, because like I said, you guys can see me on the 25th with my military old. I was surprised I still could fit the pants, But anyway, my military uniform stuff, my old military uniform I used in Afghanistan. You'll see me out there with that because it helps me mentally. It helps me for a lot of different reasons. And that's my boots on the ground. So when I say get my boots on the ground, my boots is on the ground. And to have my boots on the ground, I need to remain in Arizona. That's one of the things I have for the purpose of my GoFundMe when I started it, to remain in Arizona, fight for my son. Also to help me with the searches. And then from there it grew because I didn't have any a flyer distribution program. I was getting out information of flyers. I would print flyers, like I told you, the big flyers and stuff. But then it came to a point where I talked to my daughters. They said they was going to do pass out flyers and stuff, pass out the flyers. It didn't come to pass. So while I was doing the searches out there in the desert, I said these flyers had to get out there. They have to get out there, you guys. So I wanted to start my flyer distribution. I want to tell a story real quick because it's really good. I need to go. But when I started the flyer distribution, it's like God came to me and says, it's funny. Some of you guys are around my age will know what I'm talking about. They had this baseball movie and say, if you build it, they would come. Because I had no clue of how I was going to get this flyer. People come out and help me pass flyers out into the cities, the surrounding areas in Arizona. And so I say, you know what? I got these flyers. I created them. And I put them after I left the search one day. I put it out on social media. I was gonna have this flyer distribution, and y'all come meet me behind this Walgreens or whatever. And and I remember I had those flyers in the box. The flyers I just got them printed up, fresh printed, resized them and all that. Like I told you, you guys see it now. Resized them to make sure they fit in people's pocket. Be able to homeless population can handle them a lot better. Etc. And I remember pulling up behind that Walgreens, not a car in sight, except for the front. Of course, people go inside the Walgreens, but behind the Walgreens, not a car in sight. I'm like, oh my God, this is a failure. Nobody showed up because I've been putting that information out in the public for a while. Like, hey, look, I'm going to have this flyer distribution. And I remember getting out of the car, sat there for a second, got out of the car, opened my back door because that's where the flyers are sitting in the box. I reached in there to pull the flyers outside because I said to myself, I'm just gonna open the trunk or put them on top of my trunk and to sit there and hope somebody show up. So I reached in there to go grab them. I heard somebody say, hey, that's Mr. Robinson right there. And I turned around and man, probably like about 20, 30 people just standing behind me. I'm like, what the, it scared me, So it was really, it made me feel really good that people actually showed up and helped me pass out the flyers. And I've been doing that ever since. So make a long story, you guys, the demand got higher as the GoFundMe been used for that, utilizing me to remain in Arizona, to taking care of the searches, the equipment stuff for my investigator. Eventually going to be my investigator at the time. The investigator, getting those equipment for him and his team. All of that. And the cost had to go up again because of the flyers, paying for those flyers every week, boxes of flyers from, they have this print shop. I can't think of the name of it right now, but getting those flyers. So the cost going up. So of course I had to put in more, as the money getting lower, to put in you guys updates and telling you guys what I need to keep my efforts going. But you guys have been doing that, like I said, to make a long story, because I get this Q&A. You guys have been doing that from day one, keeping me afloat, keeping this whole search efforts going. And so sometimes you guys see $300 and something $1,000 on the GoFundMe. Don't mean the money had been utilized. It's been utilized, and as I go, it's not like something just stock up and you throw it in a savings account or something like that. No, I've been actively using those things, and so I really thank you guys for your constant support. I do see one here that's pointing out right here at me right now. Thank you so much, Nissa. I see the super chat that you put up there as well. And I see the questions, guys. I wish I could go back to these questions too as well. I don't want to miss anybody's questions. And let's see what I got, what time I got there. I probably need to go ahead and leave. I have some obligations I have to take care of. And yes, I need to go ahead and get out of here. But anyway, I forgot about I had something I had to take care of. But anyway, thank you guys. I will be continuing this on. I'm sorry for all the questions that I'm missing. Thank you, Nissa, again for the super chat. I see so much. I went well over my time. Here it is going on 2 hours and 30 minutes. But take care of yourself, you guys, and I'll see you on the back end. I'll be putting some information up for the Q&A prime time. I'm about to miss an appointment. I probably already did. But I'll see you on the flip side. God bless you, and thank you for listening, and come back again to hear the rest of what I have to say. Take care.